Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from Sherwood Forest in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, Hour 1 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. I am your lovable, huggable, mid-morning chat host, Eric Von Haessler, something like that. Surrounded by the Doctrinaires, man of 1,000 voices, Tim Andrews is here. Lady of quite a few voices in her own right, Autumn Fisher is with us. And the handsomest producer in all of producery, Jerry Yamamoto, is with us. Oh, no, hold on. You didn't turn on your microphone.
It is on. There it is.
Oh, hold on. Well, now, do we have to start the whole show over again? Can we just proceed from... Okay, let's go ahead.
I was wondering if you had...
Live from Sherwood Forest, in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, Hour 1, Part 2 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. Now, go ahead.
I was wondering if you had any Thursday thoughts today, Eric.
I have no thoughts on Thursday. I'm a blank slate. I woke up this morning, I thought, I don't know how the show's going to go. I have no thoughts about anything that's happening under the sun.
Not even Megexit?
Megexit? Oh, are you talking about Megxit?
Yes.
Are you talking about the fact that the Royals no longer want to be Royals?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. I'll think of something. I'll tell you what, it makes me angry.
Got your blood boiling.
I really got my blood boiling now. How dare these Royals not want to be Royals anymore?
We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out, right?
It'll be interesting to see how the whole thing plays out. So, sometimes I forget. You have to remind me if I've said something. I have so many conversations with so many people. We do the radio show. We do the podcast 30. We're talking during the breaks here. And I can't remember sometimes if we've talked about certain things on the air or off the air. But you won lottery stuff. Have we talked about that on the air yet?
Christmas Eve day, I won some scratch-off money.
Yeah, you won hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
So I don't play the lottery at all because I just assume nobody ever wins. Mm-hmm. You actually won hundreds of dollars with scratch off.
Yeah, I bought a $5 one. It was called Jingle Ball.
Yeah, which I find, by the way, this is a family show, so watch your mouth.
Okay. And
I love the holidays.
You see a little Jingle Ball on there, you win $100.
Yeah. And
there were 3 of them.
Oh.
Actually, you won double.
So you jingle balled away.
Yeah, I won $300.
Well, now, this is the kind of thing that my guess here is that if you could think on how much money you've spent over the years on scratch-offs
sure,
as opposed to the take-home, my guess is the house is still winning by far.
Sure, but you don't think about that. Wow, $300.
Yeah, you don't think about
Give me another $50 ticket.
Yeah, the $2,000 you've put in leading up to that.
Right.
But it still feels good, I guess.
It does.
And, you're older, so it's like a real present, right?
Oh, you start feeling like an old man. Oh, God, I won on the ladder.
I'll tell you what, I don't like being behind people like you when I just want to buy something very quickly.
I don't do that.
Oh, yeah? There are people, is there some kind of lottery, I wouldn't know, I don't do the scratch off, I don't do anything, where you have to stand there and hold up the line in real time and hand it back to the cashier? If
you're one of those people that have that little plastic thing where you slide your cards in and they get 50 of the ones they have to put in the machine, I don't play those. I just do the scratch offs and I buy them and I walk away and scratch them off.
A bigger societal point.
Yes.
When you are being cashed out of anywhere, do you give a damn at all about the people standing and waiting behind you?
No.
I do.
Why?
I do. Because you know what? I put myself in another man or woman's shoes. And I wouldn't want to be standing behind somebody who continues to complain about something that is quite obvious to everyone in line is not going to be resolved right here and right now.
That's your social anxiety.
Why not try to be helpful to others? I end up behind the 1 out of 9 million people whenever I go to the grocery store who decides, oh yeah, hard check. Really? You didn't know that it was going to say Kroger? You got to fill that out now? Was this a surprise to you? Have you ever filled out a check before? This seems like a whole new process.
If somebody's whipping out a checkbook, you might as well just go into another line because they're living in a previous decade.
Everything is a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go to the self-checkout.
But
I don't work there.
The self-checkout? The self-checkout. Let me tell you what bothers me about the self-checkout. All right, and this is a note. We have a lot of tech people in this town. A note to the people who are creating the self-checkout cash reg things. Every item you buy doesn't weigh 5 pounds or more. I already put it in the bag. Or let me just say, is using your vernacular, I've already placed it in the bag.
Please wait for attendant to show your ID. That's the other thing that
bothers. Well, look, if you're buying something that requires an ID, I don't think there's anything wrong with having to still show the ID. However, I could work it into the system where I could just show it to the, you can see my face, you see the
They got your
driver's license.
Your fingerprint is on your driver's license. You should be able to just touch a sensor and go, oh, yeah, you're 21. You don't need the attendant who's on the other side of the store.
Yeah, well, you're getting way ahead of yourself because first we have to recognize that a small bag of chips is not going to ever register as being placed in the bag. So what I have to do is I have to punch the bottom of the bag. Am I the only one who does this? I take the item, when I know it's a light item, and I put it in my hand, and then I punch the bottom of the bag in order to fool the grocery store algorithm.
I'm going to start doing that.
And make them think, because otherwise I will look like a deranged person arguing with a computer voice. I already placed it in the bag. What do you want, lady? They're always ladies. I don't know why.
Right.
These computers, yes.
Just carry some rocks with you, Eric, so that way you have them in your pocket. And
just put them in there.
The second you go to the self-checkout, you just put the rocks on the scanner.
How hard is this? I mean, there are people who deal in drugs, and they are measuring things to the gram, and they have scales that pick that up. But if the item doesn't weigh 10.5 pounds, the grocery store thing can't tell. Place it in the bag. Placed it in the bag. You witch. I start yelling.
Put it in your bag.
I start yelling at the thing. All right. Well, congratulations on your winnings.
Thanks.
I'm sure.
I've already lost it all.
I'm sure you've, and more. But it's a game you like playing, right? Life isn't interesting enough for you.
Yeah.
Saving money, so boring.
Give me 5 of those $1 tickets and 2 of the $5.
You know, I don't get caught up in any of these things, gambling or lottery or any of that sort of thing, because I simply have the experience at the age of 55. Eric Von Haessler, you don't win anything. The teams you root for don't win anything. You don't win anything. Eric Von Haessler, it's quite obvious the universe is screaming at you. You have to earn every penny you'll ever receive. So I don't get caught up in gambling, yes.
But what the Georgia Lottery is right in our building, right above us, and their slogan is "Today could be the day." So, Eric, you should have a better mentality, more positive about
Operative
this.
word, could. 55 years says won't. Let's do this.
Headlines for Thursday, January 9th.
That's my lottery. That's my lottery slogan. Today will not be your day. So get up, go to work.
Put a little money in the bank.
Put a little money in the bank. Try to beat the competition. Do what you can, basically, because today ain't going to be the day. What do you have for me in headlines?
All right, Georgia's other governor, Stacey Abrams, will hold a voting rights summit this Friday.
Oh, and we lost the right to vote in the state of Georgia? Did I miss that? We do the news every day. Jared, you must be the worst producer in the world. Are you telling me that we lost the right to vote in Georgia and this current event show was not even aware of that?
I believe that happened on Tuesday, March 3rd of 2017.
I mean, that
we lost
must be the case, right? She wouldn't be doing this unless we've lost the vote. You know, of course, because politics is a bug mishmash of baloney and mushy peas. That's politics now. Hey, we're going to lie to you. One shred of evidence. Is there anybody who's produced one shred of evidence? I'm a libertarian. If you could show me that people's right to vote had been infringed upon, I would be livid. My brain is waiting for that information. Nothing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The best analysis, objective analysis of scrubbing the voter rolls and all of that from people who had moved, people who had died, that sort of thing, is that it looks like somewhere between 30 and 35 voters. 1,000? No, 30. Somewhere between 30 and 35 voters in the great state of Georgia you could make the argument we're disenfranchised the last time around. Now, did Kemp win by 37 votes? Did he win by 33 votes? This is an absurdity. Let me talk to anybody local in news. Got a big thing to cover tomorrow. It's a thing to cover. You are a reporter. Here's your assignment. Go get it. Are you a moron or are you just cynical? Because to be a reporter, you know this is phony baloney. It's not real. If you don't know that, you're a reporter who has not taken the time to dive deep and look into it. But you know what sells? Racial strife. Nothing sells the news like racial strife. And we know that the voter thing ultimately comes down to the guy who was elected has an old-fashioned Southern accent. Let's just get to the reality.
That's right.
And his opponent was African American. Let's just deal with the real things that are going on here. Because in a public relations sense, when you're one party, you can make hay out of that. Reality, truth. Von Haessler, don't be an idiot. We're trying to win elections here. We can make hay out of this. Look at this. Bloomberg's coming to town.
Yeah.
And he is a big city, New York City mayor who doesn't have much African-American support. Who knows that there's nothing wrong with voting in the state of Georgia? Come on, Von Haessler. I'm Mike Bloomberg. African-American voters are suspicious of me. I can make hay out of this. Don't ask for truth. We're politicians. And if we're not politicians, we're people behind politicians who want the power that comes with being with winning politicians. And all that you need to know is that we've decided that we can make hay out of this. But that's all it is. And it doesn't matter how many local reporters or how many very earnest people you hear on the government-run radio station who bring this story to you. Hello. Welcome to Lunchtime with Miserable People here on your government-owned and operated radio station. Voter suppression in the state of Georgia is a known fact. I mean, it's really not a known fact, but you listen to us, so what the hell do you know? We'll just tell you it's a known fact. What are we going to do about it? Listen to my voice. It's very calm and measured and not one of these crazy people that you would see at perhaps, say, a Trump rally or living anywhere in the Midwest. No, you can tell by my voice that I'm refined and I'm invited to all the great cocktail parties with all the smart people in every major city on both coasts. So you can trust me. What are we to do with this non-issue that we created out of whole cloth, that voting rights are endangered in the state of Georgia? What? You say there's not one seat? Where is the proof? It's so moronic. And for people who haven't done a deep dive, who just believe it, look in the mirror. Who are you? Why do you immediately assume that your state, your country, you see this in the response to the Iranian thing. You know, there's a little thing. I don't care if you're for Trump or you're against Trump or whatever your foreign policy ideas are. There's just this thing underneath most of the coverage. It's very, it's amorphous. It's not defined, but it's kind of something like, well, America kind of deserves something. You know, you don't get this big and this powerful and this wealthy without stepping on some toes. So, I don't know, this Soleimani, was he just a patriot from Iran? And I noticed yesterday, as soon as what I alone in this world predicted to everybody, that we weren't going to go to World War III and that we were going to, and Trump wasn't going to ramp us up into this. As soon as that became obvious, immediate. CNN didn't have all the pundits on from 2 nights ago to apologize for being wrong. They just immediately switched to, well, was there an imminent threat from Soleimani? I don't know. Which, by the way, before we got that story was going on Monday and Tuesday, and then we got the attacks. Well, not the attacks, the launching of the missiles. Ooh, bigger story. Let's put that on hold. Let's try to convince people that it's the start of World War III, and this madman is taking us, oh, that didn't work out? Hey, go back to Tuesday. Was this the time? This is a weird vibe out there from those who aren't in favor of what has happened, which is he was a bad guy. He should have died, sure, many times, but was this the right time to kill him? Were these imminent threats so imminent? Again, nowhere on MSNBC or CNN or even Fox did they have, you know what we're going to do? We're going to invite all of the same panelists over tonight, and we're going to put them on the spot. Remember Tim Russert? We're actually going to play what they said last night that was completely wrong. And you hear these ideas where, because people hate the president so much, who hate him, you get these ideas from people who go, well, you know, we dodged a bullet. Did we dodge a bullet? Or is it possible that you were just wrong?
Irreverent.
Entertaining.
Gut-busting.
Very funny. And doesn't toe any party line.
I think it's a great show.
The Von Haessler Doctrine on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
My rally for Rayford continues. I believe this is day 558 that Trae Young has been held hostage by the Atlanta Hawks. He's in the news today because he's helping people get rid of their medical debt. I think he gave $10,000 to RIP medical debt in Atlanta. And he says here, the city of Atlanta has welcomed me with open arms. Giving back to this community is extremely important to me. I hope these families can find a bit of relief knowing their bills have been taken care of as we enter the new year. Amazing. The hostage of the city of Atlanta, or at least a hostage of the Atlanta Hawks. That's how good this kid is. Even though he's been held hostage here for 558 days, he still will help out his community. So what happened again last night? Oh, what did he score, 42 points?
42 points.
A triple-double?
Triple-double.
They must have won.
They lost.
Oh, no, that's right, because he's being held hostage. By my count, that's the sixth time that he has put up 40 or more points. And we're still, what are we now, 30-8?
I mean, you know,
8 and 30.
Yes.
8 and 30.
I wish we were 30-8.
If it was 30-8, I wouldn't have a complaint.
Is he the only one playing?
It might as well be. You know what? And I've said to the Atlanta Hawks, again, I don't know how much you care about me, but I will tell you this. If you screw this up and this future Hall of Famer moves on, my fandom goes with him. Wherever he signs, that immediately becomes Eric Von Haessler's favorite NBA team. While you diddle and daddle and dawdle, and what's the plan? The Atlanta Hawks feel no need to tell me or any fan what is the time frame. What? And I can't watch. I love watching this guy so much. I can't watch him being let down by an entire organization every night. It's too much for me. I can't watch it. This is what, if you're going to tune in, this was going to happen. Every team is going to double team or triple team Trae Young. He's so good, he's still going to be able to find somebody wide open, and that person is going to go clunk. And ultimately, this guy is a hostage. But he's a nice hostage who's helping people get rid of their medical debts. More than we deserve.
But what about the draft pick next year? Maybe that's
what are we doing? A 10-year thing? No, through the draft. We'll close slowly. Yeah, well, and, you know, basically, oh, yeah, of course. Yes, trust the process, Eric. Here was part one of the process is we were going to squander the first 3 years of this superstar's career. Okay, so that's on track. We're doing that. And I get mad because I know most people listening are like, Eric, it's the Hawks. They always suck. Even when they're good, they suck. What do you, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this person who's in this town, that if they did the right thing and surrounded him with people who could help him win games, you'd be talking about him and you'd be proud that he is in your city and representing your city, and they just let it. What are they doing over there? As a fan, tell me, what is the plan? How long is it going to take? Well, we have a good draft. Okay. great. I thought that this was going to be a team that was going to make the playoffs. It appears to be the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah, the power rankings say we're the worst.
With the guy who has just put up his 6th or 7th 40-plus point thing. And by the way, look at the assist. He's not selfish. We're not losing because he takes too many shots. All right. I know people, my Clive Cliverson, my gurus, nobody wants to hear about sports.
What about football, NFL?
Yeah. Even I get in trouble when I talk about the NFL.
Clive doesn't like it when we bring up the fact that the Hawks are 8-30. It's not relevant.
Yeah, no. Just talk about
That's what bothers me. That's what bothers me. It's not relevant. And so this kid, who's a superstar, gets no time on ESPN, no time on FS1 because everybody goes, he's a Hawk, they stink. Nah.
Eric, you got to stop dunking on the Hawks.
I'm trying to push them. I want someone to tell me what's the plan. Have we done it again? Oh, well. There's always next year, which is fine to hear, I don't know, in late July. Or not July, in late May. But again, by January, trust the process, Eric. We promise you, within 7 seasons, we'll make the playoffs. Rally for Rayford. 558 days that Trae Young has been held hostage by the Atlanta Hawks. It won't be long now. I'll be calling in the president. I realize right now that I'm in one of those moods. I just don't want to deal with all the nonsense. It's all nonsense from all quarters. Had it up to here. I know it's radio, but my hand was up pretty high, right? Up around my
over your
forehead.
head.
Yeah. Well, I've had it past here.
Yeah.
Some people are trying to actually help you, Eric.
Yeah, who's that?
Like Ralph on our Facebook page.
Ralph?
He says, Jared, please tell your boss man to push the skip bagging button on the scanner as he checks out next time.
First of all, before we deal with the issue,
He's not your boss man?
Yeah, no, I like that. I want to be called boss man. Like something out of a Tennessee Williams play.
Boss man Haessler.
Boss man.
Boss Haessler.
Boss man Haessler.
My dear
The
Julia.
boss man's coming around.
Dear Julia. If I could escape from the boss man and I'd be on that train with a big old brew of lemonade just for you.
Ma, go get Becky Sue purdied up. Boss Eric's coming.
Don't you have to talk to Bruce Springsteen before you take on that name? Because he is the boss. Let's face
He's
it.
only the boss inside of arenas.
Okay.
16,000 seats or more. Other than that.
Hey, put your phones away.
Hey, put your phones away. I know you want me to do some kind of rousing music like Rosalita, but instead I'm just gonna bore you to death with songs about the Dust Bowl. Enjoy. All right, let's do this.
Outrage Corner
That's outrageous.
with English Nick.
All right, English Nick. I know what's coming, and it's annoying me,
I know.
and you haven't even told me yet.
Cardi B says she's fighting for her Nigerian citizenship amid growing U.S. tension with Iran.
Okay, so she's threatening to leave the United States, where I believe she is a multi-millionaire.
Over the break, she bought a $5 million home here in the Atlanta area.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like they have to put that back up for sale because Cardi B thinks it's too dangerous to live in America with this tension from Iran. So she's going to go to Nigeria.
Nigeria,
I think
yeah.
she has some sort of connection there. So she's going to leave Atlanta.
Yeah.
Where it's not, I mean, we have a pretty safe city. It's not perfect. This is good. Is she going to check in with the Boko Haram insurgency that is...
I don't know what you're talking about, but that don't matter.
So-
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move somewhere else, dog. Like it's too crazy here in the United States. Like I'd be like,
I can understand that.
What they're talking about.
I think when you got to the point where you went, then it was enough, and it was time to go.
She says she's picking her tribe, is what she says.
What is she? Listen. She's
I'm
already
picking my tribe, dog.
Yeah.
You gotta pick. No. Listen to me.
No,
okay?
you listen to me.
You gotta pick your tribe.
Yeah.
I gotta pick my
You
tribe.
already-
It's like
You already picked your tribe. You're in the millionaires tribe, the multi-millionaires tribe. It's a small
That's right,
tribe.
baby.
You're already
That's right.
in that
That's right.
tribe.
That's right. You're right.
So you know what this is? How old is she? 27. This is the first time.
27.
These kids, it's the first time they see anything. So it's World War III. I can't believe this is happening. Where if they had any experience, they would have seen things like this before and understood how they land. It's like famous young people in sex. They think they invented it. You know, everybody's like, hey, Miley Cyrus, I'm having sex all. You know what? It was invented before you came along, Miley Cyrus. And this is the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just people who have no experience with the world, and they've been guided mostly to a certain degree, even if they didn't go to college, by that sort of sociology ethic that's out there about what's real and what's right and what's not. And so they don't really know. Cardi B has never read, I guarantee you, Cardi B has never read a 10-page, I'm not talking about a book, a 10-page serious paper about U.S. and Iran. If Cardi B was...
What you mean? All these things written on paper? I'll be reading, you don't think that just because I thought like this and like I got crazy, like I do crazy things, that like you don't think that I can do it? Like I can read, dog. Like I read.
I didn't say you can't read. I'm saying you're not choosing to do a deep dive in the geopolitics as relates to the United States and Iran.
No, like I don't mess with the pool, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Like,
I got you.
Like if I could like get it up into my knees, like the water under my knees, that's okay. But like I don't get it that deep stuff because it's too crazy.
And second of all,
I don't need to be swimming in the ocean either. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's before like this thing.
This is the multimillionaire who wants Bernie Sanders to become the president and confiscate her wealth, and she thinks it's too violent in America, so she's gonna go to Nigeria and hang out with Boko Haram.
Have you ever been to Nigeria?
Have you ever got?
Okay.
Have you ever got?
My point is made.
Wait a minute. They got all those girls back, right? Remember, bring our girls home from the Boko Haram?
No.
Oh, that was just a Twitter thing, and we didn't follow through, and we didn't care. None of those girls are back.
I don't know what that is. Like, I used to be a stripper,
No, it's
and
nothing
I
to do
still
with
like to dance. I still like to dance, and like, I be at the club with my husband, Offset, and I be like at the club. We be like throwing lots of money at those girls. And so I could do that in Nigeria, okay?
I'm sure the nightlife in Nigeria is way better than New York City.
Pretty soon we'll be having signs that say, bring our Cardi home. After all it's all said.
I got news for Cardi B. Boko Haram does not respond well to strong, powerful, loud women. I'm going to tell you this right now.
I don't know what you keep saying Boko Haram for. Like, I don't even know who that is.
Go to Nigeria.
And second of all, I don't need to know who that is to know that the United States is a messed up place.
What does your sign say, Jared?
Bring our Cardi home.
No, all you need is where Cardi B.
Yeah,
that's
there
all
you go.
Yeah. Where Cardi B.
Find her.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, you're getting along with English Nick there,
huh? He's funny, because like he's from the place where like English started.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. I look forward to her long essays about the U.S. Iran
I had
tension.
a friend, I call him my essay, so like, but he was like Mexican, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also, when you're there, learn Chinese because they pretty much run that entire country.
Oh yeah, they
I
own
know
it.
some Chinese.
That's part of the
Ni hao.
Hey, all right, don't get me in trouble, Cardi B.
That's how you say hello.
Okay, that's not how I say hello because I say hello.
Like I could be if in Nigeria they speak Chinese, it's okay because I say ni hao.
No, their own. What's that? Whatever belt and whatever thing with China. They just go in and they give you a bunch of money so that you can create an industry where they can buy all the minerals, and then they know you can't pay them back. So basically, you own the land with the minerals.
Exactly.
That's a smart move. And I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for the genius of Cardi B. No. That's the final word on it.
Time's up, dog.
What I like is people
Next story, Nick.
People.
She's taking over.
Wow. Hey.
She's a radio host now.
Yo, you done. You done.
And second of all,
second of all, Nick's on this show, like this is his segment.
What do you have? What do you have second of all?
I have some other people who are making changes. They're saying Harry and Meghan said are stepping back from the royal family.
I know that you're English, but we need last names.
Harry
and Meghan.
Yeah.
Who are Harry and Meghan?
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, mate.
Oh, this is
the royals.
Prince Harry.
Prince Harry,
and
Princess Meghan,
and Princess Meghan.
They said about enough. They're going to step back from all.
He's the prince. They're the prince and princess of Sussex.
Sussex, I believe. Yes.
Well, they still are.
I believe Tim called it Megxit earlier.
Okay, I saw this. He called it Megxit.
I read it the way it's written.
It's Megxit.
Well, you can call it that, but on Twitter, it's Megxit.
It's not what I call it. It's Megxit.
Hey. Is it a silent
What are you,
E?
my wife? Can't you just say I was wrong?
I'm not wrong. It's still there, trending. Megxit. See, look at it.
That's her name is spelled M-E-G and then
Megxit.
Her name isn't Meg like M-E-G. There's more to it. There's an E and an H.
Hang on. Let's go over to Cardi B and see how she would say it.
Like, I just be called like Megxit, you know.
I thought.
Megxit.
It's Megxit. So
I think that when you put it together like that,
I don't care.
There's a couple
I
things.
be trying to compliment you, okay? I be like, Eric was right.
It's not Morning O that's trending. It's Morning Joe.
I think there's a couple things going on here. One
I
is,
know this is radio, but I just looked at him with a funny face. That's what happened there.
I don't think being
so
a royal...
we haven't explained yet.
Yeah.
So they were gone for like 8 weeks. They were in Canada for the new year, and which is a little bit weird because usually you celebrate Christmas with the Queen kind of thing.
Yeah, they decided not to be there.
Decide which castle you're going to do everything in, and they decided to go to Canada. Yeah. Then they come back, and then we're stepping back from official royal service. Now, people don't know exactly what this means. But
appearances and stuff like that.
But is he going to give up being in the line of succession?
There's word he wants to just make his own money.
That's right. He make his own money. Okay. What's he going to This I love.
This is like the plot to Coming to America.
Well, I've never seen Coming to America.
Well, he's already found his woman.
So he's going to move. So these are like trust fund kids. Who read a book, and they're like, oh, you know what, Mom, Dad. I want to go out there. I want to live the real life. Like, they have no idea.
Daddy.
What's he going to become, a short order cook?
What do you have?
I'm supposed to believe this guy is going to start cleaning office buildings because he no longer wants to be. No, I want to make my own money. So what I'll do is I'll join 7 corporate boards and show up once every 2 months and sit in a chair and say, hey, Procter & Gamble, I'm part of your board.
I'm sure there's other members of the royal family who aren't as in the forefront as Harry is.
Yeah, but he's in the line of succession.
They have other gigs that they do probably outside of, the odd appearance here.
Well, there's a lot of openings after that Andrew was forced to push back. He's got a lot of gigs he left laying out there.
Maybe this is the beginning of the end of the royal family. Maybe that's what's going on.
No, I get it. He's a prisoner of or what do you call it? Stockholm syndrome, I think. She is starting to feel really caged in by this. By the way, which you should know before you marry into the royal family. I was never I got nothing against Princess Di. I got nothing against her, but I was never one of these people who thought, her cause is, you didn't know? It's the royal family. This is how it's done. You have a face for the world, and then as long as nobody talks about it, behind the scenes, you can have affairs and sex with anybody you want to. But this is how it works. In front of the world, part of this life/job is you got to put on this face. And then I can't believe you don't know how stifling it is to have to worry about having people. Oh, really? You know how stifling it is? You know how stifling it is for a lot of people who are listening to me, who are driving home from their 3rd job? You know how suffocating that is to your life?
Plenty of single moms who have to deal with that stuff every day.
I just don't have time for the idle rich who just really, okay, I'll believe it. I'll believe it when Prince Harry goes to Canada and he works on a railroad crew. I just wanted to be a regular person with a. Oh no! Say what you mean, Harry and Meghan. What you mean is you want to be just average, ordinary multimillionaire. Everyday multimillionaire. I don't need all of this other stuff.
Yeah, the actual
question is, will they give up the money because they need security? It doesn't matter whether they like who they are or not. They are who they are, and they need security.
They said they will continue to fully support Her Majesty the Queen even when they step back and make their own money.
No, what it is, they make their own money. What is he? Did he invent a new way to make the potato chip?
She's going to go back into acting.
Harry the hairstylist.
Hey, welcome to Prince Harry's. What do you have? My radio guru / consultant, Clive Cliverson, tells me, he says, tease ahead when you got something special. So I want to let people know, at the top of the next hour, Greg Russ is going to review the film Cats. So,
good tease.
You don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
All right, English Nick, another outrage.
All right, Ricky Gervais, of course, hosted the Golden Globes on Sunday night, outraged a few people.
Scorched earth.
And he says, I always knew that there were morons in the world that took jokes seriously, but I'm surprised that some journalists do, he said.
Yeah, he shouldn't be surprised at this point.
Rolling Stone's going after him.
By the way, I love that. This is one of those things, because I can't stand any of the 24-hour news networks. And this is one of those ones where, because they'll have a hero for a day. So like Fox News loves Ricky Gervais after what he did at the Golden Globes. Meanwhile, ask any of them, hey, have him in and ask him what he thinks about God. My guess is the Fox News love is going to go away very quickly because he's one of the biggest atheists. I mean,
very public
with his atheism. Yeah. But the way the 24-hour news is, well, nothing is in whole. This is what he said. This is what we're reacting to today. And today, we're reacting positively to what he did on Sunday. And we don't need the whole thing. Which I love Ricky Gervais. I've always thought he was just very funny. Because he's not afraid. He seemed almost a little bit angry in the clips that I saw with the Golden Globes.
I think that's just the act. That's just the act, though. He does that very often and stuff, even in his stand-up,
Yeah, but my problem is, see, he's right that people should not take him seriously necessarily, although there was some sting in what he was saying because there was some truth, and that's with all comedy. But Ricky Gervais, the reality of it is that no 24-hour news base, people who watch MSNBC all the time or Fox News all the time, ultimately would like Ricky Gervais. Because he is not afraid to tell you what he thinks, and he doesn't toe the line, not yours and not theirs. And that is why he's valuable. And we no longer know what to do with that. We're all in or all out people now. So it's impossible for us to go, well, I think he's funny, but I disagree with him on some things. Like, people can't hold those kind of notions at the same time in their brain.
Yeah, you've
anymore.
either got to love or hate him, otherwise you don't care.
You're either a saint or you're evil, depending on how people look at you. So the reality is, I don't want to hear it from conservatives who are in love with Ricky Gervais. Well, keep on listening to him, come back in a year and tell me if you still love him. And that's me telling you that I love him. Because I know I don't necessarily have to agree with him on everything to appreciate him.
And he would be just fine with that.
He's in a different space.
Yeah.
He's in a different space. Chappelle has rocked the world because people don't know what to do with it. A very famous man of color who's saying that we're too politically correct and sometimes sounds like Trump. But if you keep on listening to him, he's going to piss you off as a conservative, too. But nobody listens any longer than they need to get the fuel to win this 24-hour news cycle. It's so lame. It's so boring. We are becoming dumb people, which, by the way, is a good thing. Why is it a good thing? Because you don't become this dumb and stupid unless you're really fat and happy. And you're fat and happy because the economy's on fire. And you can afford to speak in emojis as opposed to using the actual English language. Yeah, dumb yourself down. It's a measure of prosperity. Thank you, English Nick.
You got it.
Hour 2 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins now. I found that I'm rather loud today. Yeah. And I think people tune into the show, newbies, I guess you could call them, they must be so confused. Because yesterday, when everyone's hair was on fire, I came on and said, hey, this is not turning into a wider war. You're being misled. Calm down. And then today, I get all angry and start screaming and hollering about self-checkout lines at grocery stores. I even have to ask myself if my priorities are straight. But these are the things that anger me. I know war and peace. Thank you very much. And now, Clive Cliverson's going to get upset at me, my radio guru / consultant.
Listen, show's off the rails. I'm just going to listen. I'll air check you later.
Because I'm going to do something now that there's no radio consultant in the world that would say, Eric, you're on WSB radio. Welcome south, brother. 95.5 talk radio. What you need to do is have your buddy Greg Russ on and have him review the film that no one wants to see, Cats. And you know what? We've decided, just for fun, that's exactly what we're going to do. I don't know. I guess the music will be from Cats. Let's do this.
My
Now in reality.
It's enough. Turn it off.
Hold on, Greg. In reality. No, don't turn it off because I want to let people know. The government is forcing me to do this. It turns out that our audience is too large and we're seen as a monopoly. And so we have to do stuff like this from time to time to make you go away and at least sample the competition. So play that song from Cats so that we can be in full government compliance with this show.
It's a pitiful version. She plays this character, by the way. This is Jennifer Hudson from the film who plays Grisabella.
Yeah.
Too pitifully. Grisabella is not supposed to be a pitiful character. It's supposed to be a character who's just longing for love but still has some pride. And this whole film, has Jennifer Hudson running around with tears and snot on her cat face.
Oh, Greg, hold on one second. He's got us right to the tears and the snot. And I have to tell people, let's back up from the tears and the snot for a moment. To let people
We're reviewing a film that came out 3 weeks ago.
To let people know that Greg Russ loves the play Cats. Now,
musical.
You can judge him in any way you want based on that, but what we know is that he loves, when he was a kid, he would put on the album, and he would pretend to be these characters and sing in his living room. So he loves the movie Cats. Also, what we know is the movie Cats is so bad that the only audience for it, I read this in the Washington Post, is people who like psychedelic drugs are taking shrooms and going to see this movie Cats with its bizarre CGI. Now, go ahead.
Well, I think doing that is a mistake because I will tell you, it takes 30 minutes to get used to seeing what's on screen. It mutilates your mind. It really it is uncomfortable for 30 minutes sober. So if you go in hallucinating, it's a risk.
Yeah, you may just end up running out of there like that lady running down the street in Vietnam. Just wild, crazy running out of there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
You'll be freaked out.
Let's state this up front. Cats is polarizing. Some people dislike it, and that's fine. And some people can appreciate it, the musical, because it's a very physically taxing show.
Yeah.
The people on stage, the amount of dance and singing, the ensemble that's out there for most of the show, it's something that I can respect. I can see that, and I can say, wow, these people are really talented.
Are you saying that in a movie you don't get that because it's a movie?
That you could possibly get that in the here's my review. I'll sum it up. Cats is a masterclass in what not to do when making a film.
Oh, well, look at that. I like that. That's a good review. And what are your examples? Can I tell you real quick before you get into your examples? The only review I know of Cats is of Cats the show. And years ago, my mother-in-law said to me, "It's no Phantom." That's all I know.
Well, that's true.
It's no Phantom. Anyway, so go ahead. What are the reasons that this is what did you say, a film study?
It's a masterclass in what not to do when making a film. As I've broken this down into 3 parts.
All right.
The first thing, the bad CGI. Let's just start there. People have seen this, even if you haven't seen the film, in the trailers, the faces, the eyes and the mouths are seemingly floating.
So does it look like one of those things that I'm not on Instagram, but I see commercials of where people, like they have a dog nose over their face and it kind of floats over them? Is that the kind of effect?
You're talking about like Snapchat.
They use Snapchat filters.
Right, Snapchat. Yeah.
Those would have been better, I think.
I think those have better tracking technology than the collars on the cats in this movie.
So that's what Autumn just said. There's the collars that these cats are wearing are added in post, and they don't move properly. So they just kind of float. And here's the thing. Some of the dancing is practical in the film, and a lot of it's ballet. So some of these dancers were wearing ballet shoes, but apparently they didn't want the ballet shoes to be seen, so they took them out in post and put the cat feet there, but then the cat feet don't interact with the ground like real feet would interact.
Okay.
It looks like there's no friction. They're kind of floating and sliding. Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Do the feet stay in line with the collars? That would be very important to me, that they stay in line if they're not going to be in line with, if neither's going to be in line with the body. Let me ask a question, though. You're getting to the point of collars and CGI. I'll tell you something that I don't think I can really suspend disbelief on. Are these cats upright and walking around?
Yes.
See, I've never seen that in real life.
But sometimes they're not.
Oh, sometimes they're not.
You know, like they have Jennifer Hudson crawling away on her hands and knees at one point.
This brings me to the next point of why it's not a good film. There are no rules. There's no consistency in the rules in the world that they created on screen. So, for example, the physics. Sometimes it's practical dancing, so the bodies are subject to the physics of the actual Earth. And then
Gravity
other times,
and such.
Yeah, and then other times you have a cat that comes flying through the frame, defying gravity and doing moves and floating in the air. So you've got this mismatch of actual physics and then this fake gravity that's been created. The scale is all over the place. So the cat's on their hind legs. Apparently going into this, they wanted to create sets where if a cat were on its hind legs, how big would the world around it be? That's okay if you stuck with that, but then there's other times they do these super wide shots and the cats look like they're the size of grasshoppers.
Now, can I that's a different movie coming out next year, Grasshoppers. I have a complaint about cats. Could I put that on the table?
Yes.
They keep finding new places to go to the bathroom in my basement.
No, Eric, this is about the musical, not about actual cats.
Oh, this isn't about my cats.
No, this isn't a call-in show on Saturdays on WSB about cat problems.
How can I keep my dog?
Dave Baker, how can I keep my cats keep on messing downstairs? What can I do?
Well, first thing you got to do is go out and get a dog. I don't know what you have cats for. If you want to have a cat, let it go outdoors or whatever, and just don't let it go to the bathroom in your flower bed.
You. Now, I'll tell you what, my cats don't dance and sing, but I would appreciate if they would do a little less going to the bathroom in different corners of my basement.
Well, talk to Tom DiGregorio.
That's my review.
Here's the third thing. The thing that really ruins the whole film is if you go see the musical, there's part of you that wants to have sex with the cats. The people on stage.
What?
This is true because these are
This is true.
No, listen to me. I'm not even trying to be shocking. You're watching these fit, attractive people.
Hold on. Yes. You're watching fit. Like James Corden say,
on stage, you know they're people in cat suits, and they don't actually have fur in the musical. This was a choice that was made, and a very good choice. They put them in the spandex outfits. There's some fur around their heads, but then they have leg warmers on. So you know they're people. They're attractive people. They're fit people, and in your mind, I would like to hook up with that person. Mm-hmm. If you're watching this film and you get that feeling because they added the fur, it makes you feel creepy and gross.
Oh.
And so I really think that this was a big selling point of Cats, and that is completely missing in the film because you can't have it because you put fur on the creatures.
Right, and that means only furries will get aroused when watching the movie.
Not even that because
they look too real.
Yes, it looks too real.
Yeah, furries are attracted to like mascot type of
like that duck from Oregon.
Yeah, the elephant.
I'd like to take that duck from Oregon out for a night. I'll tell you what. One day we just got to do a whole half hour on fetishes. I think they're hilarious.
Yes.
Just that people.
We did an episode of One Topic about fetishes.
What, that podcast that you and Greg do?
Yeah, that's right. That podcast.
Yeah, nobody cares about that.
Oh, yeah, okay. But you're just stealing our ideas. We should do a whole half hour on fetishes. It's been done.
How could I steal your ideas? I've never listened to one episode of your podcast.
Why not?
I'm very busy. I'm a very busy person.
Walking around your pool, listening to the album you've heard a billion times.
I don't. What am I going to do? Go see cats?
Eric's not a podcast guy.
I'm not a podcast guy, even though I have a podcast.
Yes.
You should go see Cats for the sake of it. I do feel as though Cats could move into the territory of cult, like The Room or Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
How much it cost? But it cost millions. Like, they didn't make it to make a bad movie.
$95 million.
Yeah, Taylor Swift's in this thing. Right there, that had to cost you.
Well, it wasn't finished.
$8 or $9.
The thing wasn't finished when they released it, which was seen when they send out another cut of the film 2 days after it was released with fixes.
It's like the anger. This is a 37-year-old man, supposedly well-adjuted.
Is it as boring as the musical live? Because I saw the musical live. I was, what's going on here?
I would have
This is
the music's great.
Overall. This is commentary. This thing that people can't get past. There's no storyline. Can't you go watch something for what it is? I don't get it.
Listen to
There's
the
nothing
passion.
to get. Why don't you let go of this?
Listen
notion?
to the passion.
I can listen to the record at home. I don't have to get all dressed up and go watch people prance around.
Get this off. It's terrible rendition.
Beautiful.
This is a bad rendition of this song.
Listen to this.
Hey, She's putting her own spin on things.
No, she played the character completely wrong.
Who does what?
Better
James,
than Elaine Page.
James Corden. What is she? She does. He does the Bagalicious Cat or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Bustopher Jones.
Yeah. Okay.
Here we go.
Is he as annoying?
No, he was actually the best part of the movie.
Yeah, because he's a Broadway
honestly.
kid.
So, Greg, I pulled up the Rotten Tomatoes rankings. The critics give it 20%, and the audience gives it 53%. Where are you at?
Yeah, what do you give it? What's your percent?
People are joking. They're putting the higher ratings. 53%.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump on board with just crapping all over it. It's too easy
go
to
ahead.
do.
They're cats. Well, that's what they would do in my basement.
I think that there was potential here. Any musical. Think back to An American in Paris. You have practical sets and actual dancing, and even though they're hand-painted sets, people give that a pass because you can appreciate what you're seeing.
That's right. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody on my show just said, think back to An American in Paris.
Yes. Do you not want to expand your horizons on this show?
I am congratulating ourselves. All right.
All I'm saying is if they actually did this with hand-painted sets, people would have given it a pass and they could have appreciated some talent.
All
Instead,
right.
they decided to cast these next stars who couldn't sing or dance.
Next
and it was a
Thursday,
waste.
we'll have Greg back, and it'll be Gene Kelly versus Fred Astaire. Thank you, Greg. Jared's annoying me today.
Why?
He's there mocking me with his handsomeness.
That's every day.
Yeah, I know.
You said that I
noticing more today.
You said that I had a haircut like a white nationalist.
No,
earlier.
I didn't. I said you had a Nazi haircut.
Oh,
get it right.
Okay, thank you.
No, that
Potato.
Yeah, the new haircuts. When I say new, the last couple of years, the hipster haircuts, they do look a little bit like your German soldier.
High and tight.
No, I'm going more like a Premier League look.
Which is
same thing.
Yeah,
same thing. Yeah, I mean, it's by the time it gets to you, you're you're separated a little bit from it, but it comes from the Nazis.
Well, he's part Japanese, so he's sympathetic to the Axis powers.
Yeah, he looks like he's about to.
Typical.
I've got Bolivian too. I've got Native American.
They sided with Germany.
You know, for a guy who's half Bolivian,
not half.
Well, whatever. You got a lot of Bolivian in you, and your last name is Yamamoto, and you grew up as a redneck. You still, to me, come off as like the whitest guy I know. How do you pull that off? I have no idea. Yeah, it's on TikTok now.
Hey, it's fun. Hey,
I'm having a new app. This is another thing. I'm sorry. This is just one of those days. I'm just going to put it all out there. He just got on TikTok. He's like, yeah, you understand. It's people just kind of they sing along to things and blah blah blah.
That's one thing.
And then he shows me, and this is exactly what it is.
No, it's.
Oh, here's Christina, my girlfriend, and she's like singing along to something. And the whole thing is, okay, 20 seconds in, I'm like, okay, I get it. Your girlfriend's hot. I get it. Your girlfriend's hot. That's the whole concept here with TikTok.
Well, you could do that with TikTok, but there are other creative things you can do with it as well. It's an extension of what
Chinese know they're not going to get your data if they don't give you a bunch of options.
The Chinese can have my data. Well, I'm not hiding anything from them. Plus, I'm Japanese, too. Why do they want that?
Well, they hate the Japanese.
They don't like you. They'll come and, destroy you one day.
Even Papamoto
kind of liked
empire
you've been trying to build.
No, Papamoto even liked TikTok, too. I was showing him about it. He liked it, too. He was all about it.
Please.
I don't like it. I pretended to like it to get you away from me.
See, the Chinese are breaking into her computer hookup.
Stop.
No.
See, this is happening now.
Oh.
All right, well, you got a
They're
story?
listening to me.
By the way, I downloaded it.
TikTok?
And open it up.
Yeah.
And the first 3 or 4 videos are people getting hurt, and I laugh, so I'm going to keep the app.
Oh, is that what it is?
Thank you, Tim.
Oh, this is the nicest generation ever.
Yeah.
Love to laugh at other people getting hurt. As long as they were. Well, he was wearing a MAGA hat. We can laugh at that guy falling down the stairs.
Hey, Clive Cliverson says, Eric, that you need to be thinking about Gen Z. Gen Z is coming up soon. You need to find a way to reach your hand out to them.
The only time I ever think about Gen Z is when my wife's out at the store, and I've got 15, 20 minutes. So I was bopping around during the break to music, and Alan Hunt says to me in my ear, "You look like a white guy trying to dance." And I thought, well, that's exactly what I am. Am I supposed to take is that a negative comment, really? Is it the sky is blue and you're a white guy trying to dance? I can hear that laughing over there. Let's do this right now.
Sparring with Dr. Joe.
Dr. Joe Yes. Joins us every once in a while, and we talk about health and lifestyle. I gotta say this: your entourage is getting as large as P. Diddy. I don't. You got like 1, 2, 3. There's 5 people who travel with you now.
Follow me around now. I got to protect myself from.
I got my homies.
Are they here to see you, or do they just want to meet Jared Yamamoto?
They want to meet Jared. That's what it is, and they're using me. They're going through me to get to him.
Yes. Well, it's like the roadies for the Beatles.
Yeah, exactly.
If you couldn't have sex with the Beatles,
Roddy will do, right?
Roddy will do.
So love. Just call me Paul.
All right, Dr. Joe with his large P. Diddy-like entourage. Welcome. What are the health and lifestyle stories that are going to be covered today, Jared Yamamoto?
This first story is from Market Watch. The number one...
Wait, is that a health place, Market Watch?
It's not, believe it or not, but they have the number one best diet for 2020, according to a panel of 25 health professionals.
All right, the first is, I'm going to yell out a little bit of a false premise here. The idea that there is a great diet. Now, what is meant by diet? Okay, that's the important thing, right, Joe?
Yes.
Doctor?
Yes, that's okay.
What's meant is, because you could say, well, your diet is everything that you eat throughout your life, throughout your year. What do you eat most consistently? What is your diet made up of? But when we say diet, we talk about curtailing our eating habits and trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one. Are they saying the best diet? Surely you could say, hey, if you're going to have a lifestyle diet, this one's better. But if we're talking about I want to lose weight really fast, I don't believe there's any such thing as a good diet.
No, they're not talking about a short-term, a finite time.
Okay.
This is a lifetime protocol.
The best kind of thing, the best. So what they did was they went and found Eskimos who never die or something.
Exactly.
They said everybody should eat whale blubber or something like
That's exactly what this study is. Yes.
Which one is it?
No, it's the Mediterranean diet.
Oh, okay.
Which is what? Fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, which is what I've been telling people to eat for 40 years now.
Yeah, and I don't mind. What did you just say? Fruits?
Fruits, vegetables.
Okay, I'll slow down.
Okay, fruits.
Fruits I like.
Vegetables.
Some of them I like. I don't like mangoes. People think they
I don't like
Me
mangoes
either.
either.
Then you can't eat any veg fruits if you don't like mangoes.
No, I'm just saying that everybody assumes that if you like fruit, which I do, that you're going to love the mango.
I had mango
and I would call it the liver of fruit. I don't. It's too pungent.
Weird. It's slimy. I don't know how to get it out of there.
I had mango for breakfast.
And there's the other one that I can't say on radio.
There's a fruit that you can't say.
Call it the CQ. Can't even say it. And it's got all full of seeds.
You don't like that?
It's hairy on the outside. Listen, no, that's
hairy.
already.
Well, you got some bad ones then.
So, okay, fruits, nuts, I'm not very good with the vegetables. I have a very narrow palate.
Yeah, okay.
I just think the best diet is just stop eating.
That's the best thing.
As much as possible.
Intermittent fasting forever.
Not intermittent fasting.
Permanent fasting.
I don't believe in intermittent fasting because that's a diet.
Yes.
Autumn, you were intermittent fasting. Did you stop doing it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course you did. But I'll bet you for the first 2 weeks, I'm an intermittent fast. Hey, I'm going to go online and tell people about my intermittent fasting.
Take pictures.
That's right. That's what I do.
Yeah,
Pictures of you not eating, yes.
Hashtag diet.
Yeah, you guys, I can't talk right now because I'm fasting right now.
Yeah. So that any kind of thing like that, there's intermittent fasting. It's silly. You're still putting the emphasis of the good times are with food. And as long as you're doing that, you're going to go back to it.
Yes.
He left out the one thing about the Mediterranean diet.
Is this anti-Dr.
This is anti-Dr. Joe. And I want to say that he left out one important group, which would be bacon, burgers, drugs, and soda.
Now that's a life. That's a diet that leads to a good life.
Raison d'etre, reason to live.
If you don't got a big old bulbous red nose by the time you're 60, you ain't lived.
That's right.
As far as I'm concerned.
I look at that guy and I think he has some regrets, but he lived his life.
He's got a story.
The wisdom is written all over his gin blossom.
Yes.
The branches of a tree.
You don't see guys with gin blossoms that much anymore. I think people.
Well, there are no men left.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They all died, which is the next story.
So the Mediterranean thing, fruits, nuts, vegetables,
absolutely.
Whatever. Just stop eating so much. You know, okay?
That's
I
right.
just tell you, over the break, I ate maybe a little more than I'm used to. I didn't walk hardly at all. But what I found after 6 months of not doing intermittent fasting or any kind of, but just slowly pulling back the amount of food that I eat, I have no need to really keep on eating and eating and eating. Yes, I ate a little more than usual because the schedule was different and we were traveling and it was the holidays and we're with people. But that didn't mean that I went, oh, I got an excuse. I'll eat 4 donuts
Well,
now.
exactly. That's it. Yeah, it's the holidays. I got to eat. You don't have to pig out when it's a holiday.
No,
right.
you can enjoy a nice cookie.
Yes, a cookie.
A cookie.
Yes.
This is possible.
Yes.
I want to say to the average American, it is possible to simply enjoy a cookie.
Yes.
Well, you're talking about less of a diet and more of a lifestyle.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly right. And that's why you look so good now. You're so
but
thin
once you
now.
eat one cookie,
Your skin is beautiful.
What's that?
I said your skin is beautiful.
Is my skin beautiful?
Your skin looks amazing.
Well, thank you. Are you hitting on me,
No, I'm not hitting on you. You know I like women.
All right. So, you got to, if you're like, I'm on a diet for a set period of time, fail.
Right.
Fail.
Yes. I agree with
How
this.
do you eat? How do you live your life?
Yes.
And this is true. Your DNA is going to have more to do with this than anything. But in general, the less you eat, right?
Right.
The less work your body has to do.
Number 1 consumer of energy is romance. Number 2 consumer of energy is digestion.
Wow.
So unless you're like Jared having romance all the time,
right.
yes.
So I'm going to take this one step further. The more work your body has to do,
yes,
the more likely you're going to have these sort of free radicals tossed out.
Correct.
Right? Mm-hmm. The less your body has to do, the less chance there is of tossing these free radicals out and that ending up. Now, that being said, you can have DNA in your cancer. And so I'm just talking about all things being equal.
Yes.
It's better for your body
eat less.
if you ask it not to digest so much stuff. And Americans are asking it to digest a huge breakfast, a huge lunch, and a huge dinner every day. And then we wonder why we're looking,
Why am I
we're all
sick?
the size of elephants now.
Yeah. Quality over quantity.
Go to an amusement park these days. Just look around.
Excuse me.
Yeah, the rascal line is longer than the normal line.
Ride the rascal. And by the way, not being able to control your knife and fork is not a handicap.
That's right. Yeah,
The fact that you don't know how to stop putting food in your face should not qualify as a handicap. And now you know what? You should be parking furthest away from the store.
Right.
If we're talking about what's good for your health. I'm talking to you.
Stop body shaming me.
I'm not body shaming.
I'm healthy at any size. I'm happy with myself.
Then why did you get the handicap?
Well, because it hurts my knees to walk that far. So stop it. I'm healthy. I'm healthy. Fat has nothing to do with health.
Sir, I really don't want to pull your groceries out of your rascal and put it on the belt. I really don't want to do that for you.
No.
I guess I'll just leave him here. Too much energy. Hey, Jim's backing up. All right, what's next?
All right, this next one comes from Newsweek.
I've heard of them. They were never quite as big as Time, and now neither of them matter.
That's true. Their story is scientists discover 6 genetic links to anxiety in largest ever study on subject.
Number 7, don't forget, working with Jared Yamamoto.
Yes, it changes your DNA.
Now, stressful links. Again, I think I'm going to be contrarian here, Dr. Joe, before we get to the details, because I think... Where is your disposition? Are you somebody who's easily stressed out? Are you somebody? It's like I tell people: if you're quick to anger, you're going to be angry a lot. If you're easily let down by other people, you're going to be let down a lot. Ultimately, is that about other people, or is it about your disposition? How are you responding to the world around you?
They're saying there's a genetic predisposition to for stress, yes, and most of them are white folks. There was one
white folks. White people are stressed.
More genetic links than African Americans.
That's because we always wanted to dominate basketball.
Is that what
just
it was?
Didn't work out.
Yeah, we got hockey.
Stress anybody?
They gave us hockey.
People don't like hockey as much.
So there's the stress. Exactly. So, but the point is that if you have a genetic predisposition, be more careful. Don't just say, well, I have a genetic predisposition. This is how I am.
For stress, you mean?
For stress,
I should drink more coffee.
There you go. Exactly, yeah.
Do you, are there, what are the 6? What did you say there were 6? What are there? There's, go ahead.
They're saying that in the genetics and what's called the genome.
Oh, I see. It's not like 6 lifestyle things.
No.
There's 6 things
different
in the
places
genome.
in the genome that could lead to stress.
You know what I think it is, and I really believe this to be true, because stress and anger are together. Mm-hmm. And I've said this before, and this is my own personal epiphany. Because I've never been one with grudges, but I would blow up. Still, every once in a while, I'll do, but not as much.
I've never seen
not as much as I used to.
Okay.
In the moment, it's like a thunder, boom, just And what I've found is that it's really about being a control freak. Mm-hmm. I want you people to be acting the way that I want you to be acting, or I want the world to be this certain way that it's not. And if you can pull yourself back and just think, well, when I was born, I wasn't told that the world was going to do everything I told it to do. There's really having an expectation that the world's going to do everything I told it to do, whether they're my own offspring or the person I married or my neighbors or people I work with. It's really like a lot of things. It's a shifting of priorities, really. You know, what's important to you? You know, how do you want? This is important to me as I get older because, like I said, I never held grudges or anything. But as my kids get older and they're more honest with me, you know, it bothered them that I would blow up and stuff. And I'm like, hey, yeah, but it was just like 10 minutes later, it was always gone. I wasn't somebody coming back the next day holding it over your head. And I always let myself off the hook with that. But from their point of view,
that stuck with them. Yeah.
There was a thunderstorm once a day.
And there's the genetic. You altered their DNA.
But it matters to me. It's like, how do you handle things like this? And I really think it's more about perspective than anything else. Mm-hmm. I have no right to expect that everyone else is going to act as I think that they should act. Mm-hmm. Once I realize that, you bring a little different perspective to it. Mm-hmm. Now, if my wife keeps on telling me where I'm supposed to turn when I already know.
Yeah,
I think that's still a legitimate reason to blow up.
You think so?
Maybe I'm not completely there yet. Next.
All right, this comes from Yahoo News. Running a marathon for the first time knocks 4 years off of your heart age, Eric.
Absolute and total BS. Right, Dr. Joe?
Well,
there's no way that you could calculate that.
Well, that's clickbait. I mean, you got to train for the marathon. They eat better. It changes your whole lifestyle when you're training for this. So I think that's just clickbait.
And by the way, you don't want to miss those years between 92 and 96. Woo!
That's a
Some
good
of
times.
the best years of your life.
The Von Haessler Doctrine.
He's extremely funny. He's got a great sense of humor, and he brings a lot of good content to the air.
On 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
You know, Dr. Joe's here, and I just had this thought. You know, my mother was a hypochondriac, but and we used to make fun of her for it. But it occurred to me, hypochondriacs, all of them, eventually do die.
They're eventually right.
Yeah, they're always right about that last complaint.
Yeah, right.
and because they're hypochondriacs, that's probably the reason they die, right? Oh, she's been complaining for 25 years.
Uh-huh. Well, there's nothing. Older people, they don't have a lot to talk about. So
yeah, you know what? I think we need to, as we get older, we have to guard against that because nobody cares. And at some point, you come to a certain age where you start thinking that people care about your ailments.
Yeah.
Now, if you just got a heavy-duty diagnosis that's life and death, your friends care.
Right.
But, the leg and I can't, people don't care. But obviously, when those people were young, they didn't care either. But something happens mentally.
Yes. And
you get to 65 or something, and you start thinking, you know what? Everybody needs to know about all of my ailments.
Yes, everything. Jared's generation is going to is our generation, so that's something.
No, robots are.
Oh, robots are totally. I feel better.
Yeah, we don't want to take care of y'all's generation.
His generation's too lazy. Yeah. You quickly have another health and lifestyle story?
Yeah, this is from TMZ, Eric.
Oh, they're good with the health and lifestyle. Better than WebMD.
This is a big deal.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber is battling Lyme disease.
Is that an STD?
I had sex with a tick, baby.
No, honestly, Lyme's is like the new thing to have in Hollywood.
Is it?
Yes, it's a whole thing. Like all of a bunch of the Hiltons have it.
Come on.
Those models, the Hadids or whatever, they all have
Don't
Lyme.
you have to go into the woods and get bit by a tick or something?
Right.
A deer tick?
It's like a disease of excess. So like, when I was growing up riding horses.
Hey, wait, what are you saying, Justin Bieber?
You don't have to get bit.
She's a hater.
She is not a biter. She's not a hater.
There's another part of this story, though, Dr. Joe.
Yeah.
Okay, you may or may not have Lyme disease. I think if you have Lyme disease, you can't really do much. You're like, you have no energy,
you got to
right?
build up the immune system.
I can barely dance and sing for 2 hours.
Yeah, the paparazzi was convinced that he was depressed, but he revealed, obviously, that he had Lyme disease.
But he also has something else. He has chronic what?
Chronic mono. too.
What is that?
As opposed to acute mono?
Chronic mono. I've never heard of. You've heard of chronic mono? Mono that never goes away?
Acute mono and chronic mono? No, I never heard of that one either.
He's just making things up.
I can't hear in
He's
stereo.
just depressed.
Excuse me, you can't what?
I can't hear in stereo.
Is that it? He just doesn't want to admit that he's depressed?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Constant
why
mono.
would he
Like,
be-
I can't get out of the couch. I can't get off the couch.
Yeah.
I have low energy.
Didn't
I
he
think I have Lyme's disease and chronic mono.
Didn't he just get married?
Yes.
Okay, he's depressed.
His new song's about her.
Dr. Joe, how do we get more Dr. Joe?
Sunday nights right here on WSB, 7 to 9. We have our live show. You can call in with questions. Our website, drjoe.com, over 1,000 hours of podcasts.
Mr. Chronic Mono himself. Yeah. Flip, flip, flip. Hour 3 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. Are we still on the air?
Yeah.
I thought this show was over. Okay, fine. Another hour on the air, and then the podcast 30. Okay, I'm up for it. I can get this done. Now, I believe we have some open mics.
Yes.
These are people who are not involved in the radio industry. These are listeners of the radio station. And yet, for some reason, they feel like they have the right to get up here on the big stage with the rest of us. And for some reason, we make it possible with our open mic app, our app, WSB Radio app, and you can leave a message for us. So, okay, call off the dogs, open the gates, let the people in.
This is Paul in Rome. Hey, Mr. Eric Von Haessler. Man, you are the king. I am so glad you were right, sir. I should never doubt you. Thank you.
See how happy that guy is? Because he bought into all the hype coming into yesterday's show that from CNNs and all the, that's World War III. Why, my favorite blog told me that Trump was getting us into World War III, and I believed it. And who showed up and said, hey, relax. Everything's going to be all right. Not completely all right, but the threat level was the same as it was 2 nights previous. Doesn't mean there's no threat level. I could tell that's what he's talking about. I was the only voice of reason when those missiles were launched.
Well, be careful, Eric. He's positive, but we do.
Oh, you going negative?
I got to go negative.
That's what he said to me, Jared. Said, I got positive, positive, negative, negative.
Well, you got to be balanced.
He said, do you want to go positive, positive, negative, negative, or do you want to go flip, flip, flip? And I said, I don't know what that means. I said, go flip, flip, flip.
I got you.
Go flip, flip, flip.
Let's do flip, flip, flip.
Let's do flip, flip, flip.
Here's what. Well, flip, flip, flip.
Eric, we do not listen to you to hear you say the same thing over and over and over again. You said the same thing today over and over again, over and over again. You said the same thing over and over again, over and over again. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but do you know what I'm saying? We don't put the open mic out there, so I have to listen to you over and over again talk about how you don't want to listen to me say the same thing over and over again.
Wake
What's
up,
he referring
WSB.
Excuse me.
Wake up, WSB.
He's referring probably to that thing that I kept saying over and over again. But you know what?
Oh, flip, flip, flip.
We did the research. Flip, flip, flip. We did the research. And Clive Cliverson, my radio guru / consultant, came back and he said, these people that are listening to your show, Eric, they're thick. You got to say things over and over and over again if you want it to hammer home, right?
It's just like a Tap 40 station plays the same songs every 10 minutes. You got to say the same thing over and over again.
Do people complain about that?
No, well, I don't know.
Maybe they do.
People would
I keep hearing.
We'll keep going with the flip, flip,
I love
flip.
the river, but if I have to hear the, Heart's Barracuda one more time.
That's a good song.
Take
not after a guy. No, not back to back.
Yeah, yeah.
You're talking about,
no women back to back, is it?
That's a real rule in radio. Did you know that, Jared? In music radio.
I've learned,
in rock
but
and
I'm
roll
still
radio.
blown away that this
in
is a
rock
thing.
and roll radio, you'll notice you'll never get female singer back to back.
What makes sense?
Why does it make sense?
When you're listening to an EDM radio station, you don't have 2 female DJs back to back.
First of all, I didn't know there were EDM radio stations.
Yeah, of course there are.
But I mean, it makes no sense. There's no reason for it other than radio experts, consultants decided that for some reason people cannot handle Joan Jett into Heart. It'll freak the whole city out. You gotta
people
break.
are dumb, Eric.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like something that's just been accepted in rock and roll radio, and I don't believe that the premise has any validity whatsoever. And I'll tell you why. Because they don't really think about it. There are male singers who sound female.
Yeah.
And so I've heard Led Zeppelin into Supertramp.
Oh,
I should
sure.
say, it would be Heart into Supertramp. I screwed that one up. Let's do this.
More headlines for Thursday, January 9th.
Is this a female DJ?
I don't think so.
Nobody
We're not
cares
sure.
about EDM. You know, the thing I don't like about EDM is people call it EDM music. What the hell do you think the M's for?
Well, I was going to say the female DJ followed by another female DJ, and the rule being that you can't play two females back to back. It doesn't make sense with DJing.
Yeah, they don't
they're
do
not
anything. They'll sing.
Well, you would never play like MK Ultra into Rez.
One time, I'll tell you, I was driving home, and they played Lindsay Lohan into Paris Hilton. And I drove off a bridge.
No, not at all. That's a crime.
Yes. All right. What do you got in the headlines? What are people? None of it makes sense. I know what you're going to tell me.
What's the scuttlebutt?
Yeah. What's going on out there, man?
Well,
Let's go back to like 1972, man. Talk radio. What's going on out there, man?
Yeah. What's the vibe?
Yeah. I got. Hold on.
Energies are up, aren't they?
Yeah, tell me what's going on. I got to queue up Inagata Davida.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Well, Speaker Pelosi announced that the House will
Speaker
vote.
Pelosi, who does she speak for?
She speaks for the American people.
The House of Representatives. She is the top kahuna.
Yes.
In the House of Representatives.
And she announced that the House will vote today on a war powers resolution to limit the Trump administration's military actions
She
against
could
Iran.
have simply announced that we're congressional members of Congress and we're cowards, because it means the same thing. This is another situation where I have to jump in here with logic and reason and say, don't react from the left or the right the way you're supposed to react. I love Pelosi, so I love this. I hate Pelosi, so I hate this. Calm down, puppets. The von Haessler Doctrine is here to tell you what's really going on. People in Congress do not have the courage of their convictions. The War Powers Resolution, Act, whatever, is, and this is whether you like it or not, 2 + 2 = 4 fact, the War Powers Resolution is meaningless. Meaningless. Let's go to although people in Congress have all the power they need. Did you know that? Without the War Powers Act, members of Congress can stop any war or any military action in its tracks like that. No need for the Supreme Court. No need for appeals. But what they know on both sides up there is that you probably haven't read your Constitution lately. So let's just take a look at Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution. The Commander-in-Chief Clause states that the President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States. We didn't have an Air Force back then. And of the militia of the several states when called into the actual service of the United States. So that's Commander-in-Chief. Basically says the Commander-in-Chief can decide what is going to be done militarily. Let's go to Article 1, Section 8. Your same Constitution, people. This gives Congress the power to declare war and raise and support the armed forces. What does that mean? The power of the purse. Nobody cares about declaring war anymore. That got so messy. The last war that was declared was in World War II, against Germany and Japan. And we've done plenty of things since then. Even the 2000s wars, they didn't declare war. It was a resolution, gave the president right to act in these situations. Congress, the founders knew what was up. They knew that you could not win any military conflict by committee. They knew the American people will have decided who the president is at any given time. So the president is the commander-in-chief. That means what it says. The president can pretty much do what the president wants to do in terms of the military. But what about checks? Well, they're called elections. And even if that president isn't up for re-election, his party still wants to be in power. That's the check on that one. But there's a bigger check. And that's the check. Who's going to write the check? There's never been a war ever fought that didn't cost anything. They cost a lot of money. And the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, doesn't have the ability to put one dime toward anything for any period of time. Now, you can go and do something one night, but an extended campaign anywhere has to be funded. The only way it can be funded is by the Congress of the United States. So why are we hearing about this war powers resolution? Why do we hear about it? Why did we hear about it when people got tired of Iraq? Because they knew you forgot that Congress could have stopped that on a dime anytime they wanted to. What they didn't want was the responsibility. They didn't want to have to face voters at home when somebody running against them would say, our boys and girls are overseas and you cut off funds. And then people could say to me, well, Eric, you see how that works. So, yeah, they've got the power, but do they really have the power? And I'll say right back at you, yeah, that's exactly what the founders understood. They understood that you can't win any military conflict by committee. And if you're going to stop the president, the overwhelmingly the American people have to support you stopping the president in terms of the military. There's nothing about this the founders didn't understand. So all you need to understand before you get your notes and your marching orders from your left or the right is that this is a non-issue. No member of Congress needs the War Powers Act or resolution or whatever they're calling it now to stop a war. The Constitution of the United States gives them the power to stop any military campaign. They just have to have the courage of their convictions, and they have to be willing to face the voters again once they go on the record. The war powers stuff doesn't really put them on the spot because they know it's going to be ignored by both Democrat and Republican presidents, as it has been since it was first invented, which is not very long ago in our history. Because through most of our history, it was understood, well, it's right there in the Constitution. He's the commander-in-chief. They decide the money. Well, in your household, if I told you, Jared, okay, we're going to split this up, and we'll go against patriarchal types. We'll say that Christina she's in charge, right? She can decide anything, any furniture that you're going to buy for the next 10 years. But you have to provide the money.
Well, it sounds awfully similar to what it is now.
Well, okay. My question is, okay, she's in charge. She's got the boardroom. She's got the desk. But who's really in charge of what furniture is going to come into the house?
Me, because I'm the one that gives the money.
You're the one giving the money. So you don't need some special law passed as a check and balance on the fact that she is in charge of deciding what furniture she wants you to have. This is exactly what's going on here. It's baloney. I hate that term wake up, so I won't use it. But the Constitution can be read while you're going to the bathroom. I don't mean to put the two together because I think that, I'm just saying.
More respectful than that.
It's not War and Peace. You can read the Constitution of the United States in a few minutes, and if you haven't, then you deserve to be the puppet that they're treating you as. Yeah, you cooked her nines. All right, what do you got for me?
Two big Georgia sports stories for you. Number one.
I'll be darned. I live in Georgia. It's of interest to me.
Well, how about that? First one, Georgia quarterback Jake Fromm announced that he will declare for the NFL draft.
And I know Jared this morning, I don't think it's a good idea.
It's not a good idea.
No, it's a great idea. He's going to he's not going to be a backup quarterback, certainly at first. Or he might start out that way. But people are going to, whoever gets him is going to think, maybe this guy's the future for us. And we'll find out. But my point is, even backup quarterbacks in the NFL make a few $1 million a year. Why do you go to college, Jared?
Well, to get a job.
To get a job and make money.
Yeah.
He's been in college. He's been in college. He has his skill set. And you went to college, right?
I did.
Go Wolves.
That's right.
And you've been in the workforce now 10 years, right?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you're not making multi-million-dollar paychecks after
as far as you know.
As far as I know, but you're not. And Jake Fromm's first paycheck is going to be, I don't know what the minimum is. It's close to $1 million, if it's not $1 million. So even if he goes in the lowest kind of thing, and if he does okay within 3 or 4 years, he's going to be making multi-millions of dollars.
But he's not even a top 5 quarterback in this class.
Why would you want to be? Why would you want to be?
To get paid.
You know who is number one? Okay, you get paid, but what happens? Who would you rather be today? Would you rather be, out of the same draft class, would you rather be Baker Mayfield, drafted first, or Lamar Jackson, drafted 32nd the 32nd team was a really good team that just needed a quarterback. Plug and play.
Well, Baker's getting paid, though.
Yeah, but Baker's at home. Lamar Jackson is headed toward a Super Bowl, possibly. And if he gets there or anywhere close to there, his payday's a coming. So, $480 million minimum, Alan Hunt tells me. No, 480,000.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
I was like, wow, that's
480,000 is a minimum in the league, but it's not. If you're a first-round draft, there's a number, and if you're a rookie and there's a second round, I'm not exactly sure what it is.
You got to think
but
Fromm's a third or fourth round pick, though.
If you're the top. But so what? Would it be the worst thing in the world that he went to college and in the third round, Bill Belichick picked him to be a part of the New England Patriots?
That would be ideal
and paid him nearly $1 million in the first couple of years?
Perhaps I'm being a little selfish. I just think that Georgia is going to be better.
Stafford did it.
Huh?
Stafford went early.
He went early, but he was also drafted very high.
And he was also an insanely
Everyone
good
knew he was going to be drafted high. I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Jake Fromm maybe isn't going to be drafted all that high. But still, if he was your son, he said, well, he went to college for 4 years, and his first job, he's making about $1 million a year. Wouldn't you say, well, that was a pretty good college experience? Pretty good. But suddenly you think, well, no, if he sticks around, and then he can increase his draft stock. Horrible team can draft him really high, and no one will ever hear from him again.
Just remember, you got Joe Burrow, Tua, the guy Justin from Oregon.
You think he's excited about going to Cincinnati? Because that's where he's going.
Jordan Love from Utah State, and then Jacob Eason's fifth ranked.
You're not listening to me. It's the best thing for Jake Fromm. A team like the Patriots or somebody else picks him up and grooms him, and in 4 or 5 years he's making multi-millions, but immediately he's making $1 million or something close to it. Good thing. Good on him. So you're telling me that people are digging the art. I call it the art card for each show. Every show, we take the radio stuff and the 30-minute podcast 30, put it together into one big podcast, and it has a title card, and there's some art on it, and you're telling me that people liked yesterday's.
Yeah, you can find it on our Von Haessler Doctrine Instagram and our Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook, and you were supposed to send us an image that you liked, but
no, that worked just as good.
Our digital producer and I sat down and we were having fun with it yesterday.
That's the new picture of me that I'm trying to get WSB to put out there officially, and apparently people are just a little too busy. It's been 3 months, and still that one there where I look jaundiced is still the one that's the official.
Well, it was a harder
picture.
time, Eric.
Yeah, it was tough. I was coming into talk radio, and I had not eaten in a year. I wasn't all that healthy, so it was. It's what we consider our art would look like if I had one of those shows on CNN or MSNBC.
Exactly,
like All In with Chris Hayes or Out and About with Aaron Burnett, or what was it?
Aaron Burnett out front.
Out front. She's out front.
On top of it.
Yeah, Chris Hayes is in. And mine was called Right Here with Eric Von Haessler.
Yeah.
So we have that for you. But, yesterday I was looking at the things, and it turns out that there is one called Right Now. I don't know if it's on CNN or MSNBC, but there is Right Now with somebody. So we weren't so original.
How about In a Little Bit with Eric Von Haessler?
Yeah. Just a sec.
Just a sec with Eric Von Haessler. At some point, you'll have so many cable stations and internet stations that they'll be out of those kind of interesting, ways of titling their news program.
Wait a minute.
We could go back.
Yeah, I like because the truth is, for all these different names, there's no difference between these shows.
Yeah, they're not telling me anything new about what the show's about.
No, it's always, what do you do? Well, there's a host, and then they talk to 5 or 6 people around a table and a couple people by satellite, and they all give their opinions and speculation. But, hey, this one looks different. It's got a different name. The host is different.
Fox has got an honest one. America's Newsroom. That airs during.
But that's like Newsday or something.
Yeah.
What that says is none of the people you're seeing on the screen are actually command a paycheck that is as big anywhere near that of Tucker or Sean Carlson or Wolf Blitzer. Sean Hannity.
Sean Carlson.
Yeah, Sean Carlson.
Sean Carlson.
Tucker Hannity.
Hey, buddy, we don't have any kids.
Tucker Hannity, Sean Carlson. Wolf Burnett. So what that is that these are the people who are just giving you the news. We're not doing, but each of these shows that have a name isn't there Morning Joy, that one lady over there?
AM Joy.
AM Joy, the least joyful person in the world. Her name happens to be Joy. She seems angry about everything.
And she gets one day a week to fill it up with anger.
AM Joy. Oh, this is a real good way to wake up.
AM Joy.
AM Joy. So you have to find out who does right now, because we may have some sort of copyright infringement when I get
All
on.
right, hopefully they don't come after us. But I do have some open mics for you if you want.
You want some open mics?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, sure, fine. I don't
Hey, I see a great big billboard with a picture of Fred Blankenship on it. Where in Atlanta can I go see a big billboard of Eric Von Haessler, the king of Atlanta radio?
Well, it's funny. If I get my way, it's not going to happen until we get rid of that jaundiced official pit photo that we have. For a while, Reliable would have my face up there in the R.
Yeah, was it that jaundice?
It was that jaundice, yeah, it was the jaundice face. I don't know if they're still doing that. But, I should have my own billboard. It should be WSB. Here's one thing you need to know. This genius is on every day on our radio station.
Right here.
Put Jared on it, though.
You think Jared's
well, I mean,
I think I
know what you're saying. You're saying he's a little less jaundiced than I am.
Well, yeah,
but Autumn's the eye candy, though. That's what
I brought her in to be the
check out this mom.
Actually, we're going. Hey, hot mom.
Yeah,
hot mom coming through. I'll see you at the toy aisle in Target.
Turns out we're going for a larger reach, and Tim Andrews is correct. We're going to put you up there.
Oh,
you're the eye candy.
Okay,
because this is a show for everybody.
That's true.
Better make it quick.
I don't care how why you
the
think
booze is getting to
you
him.
think the booze is getting to him? How long do you? This is what I call. When do you think the Billy Joel face change will happen?
Yeah.
Because if you look, there's that one album of Billy Joel in the '70s where he's got curly hair and he's just beautiful, like he's a really good-looking guy, and then over somewhere along the line. It happened pretty early, by the mid-'80s, certainly. The face just completely changed.
Well, the face got big enough where gravity could take hold and pulled it down.
And that's what you're going to do. If you don't stop with the partying as you get older, this is going to happen to you. You see, beauty in the human eye, when it comes to faces, it's about symmetry.
Right.
We consider better-looking faces the faces that one side, no two sides of a face are exactly the same, but the faces that are closest to being the same, one side or the other, splitting right down the nose. Those are the good-looking people. The problem is, as you drink excessively, you create more fatty cells. You create more face, which gives gravity more to play with, more to work with. And then all of a sudden, one side's not lining up so much with the other side.
How you doing?
And then you're just this guy.
Hey, what are you going on? Man?
Just drank a lot, didn't sleep.
I wanted to live life. I know I'm 38, but
they say after
Great,
40, you get the face you deserve.
Well, that's why one of my New Year's resolutions was to increase my workouts from 2.5 per week, 2.5 workouts per week.
Did you notice that, Autumn? It didn't have anything to do with drinking less. It was just work out more often.
Just to sort of ease your guilt about drinking so much.
I'm telling
you. When you work in radio, I mean, you gotta do it.
Everybody knows that. Everybody, when you work in radio,
you're just
like waitresses and waiters drink a lot. Cooks, chefs, and stuff. They drink a lot. People in radio don't. It's not like a thing.
My wife's trying to fatten me up over it's the holidays. Eat. What? The calendar's going to tell you? Hey, I'm in radio. We drink a lot.
Well, Clive Cliverson, as soon as I came to WSB, our consultant, I mean, he took
he took it to the Gold Club.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Back when the Gold Club was, that's not
he was 5.
Yeah. Remember they shut down? Remember that being a big deal in Atlanta?
Yes, I do.
Was it Campbell?
It started with Campbell, yes.
And the whole thing was about they're going to shut down the Gold Club, but it wasn't like they outlawed strip clubs.
No, they wanted the land.
They wanted the land
because it's a great big MARTA place.
That's why I'm shutting down the Star Bar. I want the land.
Yeah.
I'm gonna build 14 high rises, really skinny.
14 mixed use
high rises. I'm gonna call it Hipster Arms.
The Hipster Arms.
They're very hairy.
Somebody yelled at me about the Star Bar yesterday.
Oh yeah,
they were suggesting that I was suggesting that they deserve to go out of business in some way or whatever.
Yeah, they were really upset.
Maybe it's gentrification, but I spoke to this. You open it up down the street. Open it up in Candler Park. They're still hippies.
Hey, the Native American tchotchke store down the street from the Star Bar can stay open?
Yeah.
Well, try paying your rent, buddy.
Pay your rent. Well, but I get what people are saying. If they want you out of a place, they just keep raising the rent. Now, I don't know the specifics of this, but if that's true, then that's something that you do. You keep raising the rent, and eventually they can't pay it, and you can get rid of them, and you can actually use. Look, real estate is the land itself, the area. And right now, probably the space that is inhabited by the Star Bar is not producing as much revenue as that space could. But again, I would say just move it. If the 40 Watt in Athens moved, just move it. And again, there's still hippies in Candler Park, right?
Sure.
You see the Indigo girls hanging out every once in a while.
Basically, Eric's advocating for an Urban Outfitters or something over there.
No, Ross.
Hey, there's an urban.
I prefer TJ Maxx, but okay.
Parking for the Vortex. Right there will probably bring in more revenue than. It's just the way of the world. People can't want to hold on to everything. It just doesn't work that way. Change is the only thing that stays the same.
Wow.
That's true.
Whoa.
That's true.
That's a little too deep for the audience.
If you're gonna, I'm sorry.
Also, like time. It's like right now isn't really right now. It's really a second ago.
I want to open
right
the Stein
now,
Club again.
Right now, it's on CNN. We just don't know who the host is.
Oh, that's right.
We've defined right now. Is that you said you had other sports stories and other open mics?
Yeah, so here
I always want to say opens mic, like attorneys general. I don't know why.
Well, you can ask open mic if that's how he wants them referred to.
Are they open mics if I have more than one, or are they opens mic?
Well, I'm only one mic, so it's opens mic.
Okay, that's what I thought, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Open away.
All right, this guy is upset with your analysis on Jake Fromm. You and I disagreed.
No, I said he should go into the draft. He's doing the right thing because he went to college to make money. He's going to make money. And you're like, oh, he's going to slide down and he's not going to be the number one pick.
I think he'd bring his draft stock up if he played another year.
How do you know? What if he broke his leg in week 2? That wouldn't bring his stock up.
I think UGA's class coming in is better than this year's team, personally. But this open micer is weighing in on it.
Sorry to disappoint you, brother Eric. Your buddy Jake Fromm there is going to be more disappointing than Aaron Murray.
This man's not my brother. And Jake Fromm is not my friend. I have nothing against him. We've just never met. All right, now go ahead.
Going to be more disappointing than Aaron Murray in the NFL. Aaron Murray set more records at Georgia than anybody else, yet where the hell is he? Not playing football, that's for damn sure. Oh, maybe in Canada? Nope, not playing.
Well, is he in Canada? No? Go ahead.
Wrong.
Go ahead, but
in Canada either. That's right, because he can't play. Sucks. Jake Fromm is worse than that. First season freshman, he should have gone pro, finished fifth best in the NCAA. Possible. Now he's 55th best. Well, 55th worst. Woo! Good luck, Jake.
Sounds to me like a very soured Bulldogs fan who believed that he was had at least one national title in the Jake Fromm years, didn't get it, and that's how fans are. Love you till I hate you. And when I hate you every bit as much, with as much passion as I loved you when I loved you. That's what that sounds like. I didn't say that Jake Fromm should go into the NFL draft because he's going to be the greatest NFL quarterback. I said you go to college to get a skill set that you will get paid for once you get out of college. In the NFL, if Jake Fromm was a backup quarterback for 10 years, if that's as far as he went, and I'm not saying it's as far, he may do better than that, but if that's all that happened, that he was a reliable backup quarterback in the NFL for 10 seasons, he would retire a multi-millionaire so long as he didn't just squander away all of his money. That was the reason that I was saying it was the right. So this guy hates him but wants him to come back to the Bulldogs.
Not a good Bulldog fan, because he doesn't know Aaron Murray is the starting quarterback for the Tampa Bay Vipers.
Oh, the XFL.
Yes.
The new XFL. It's the new one. Not the AFL and not the first XFL.
Right.
You know what we should do I think I want to start the XFL EX. And we actually have guys like O.J. Simpson out there.
Oh, yeah. I can still run. Watch me. Oh, wait a minute. My knees are...
The XFL. Hey, are you wearing Bruno Mollies?
Yeah, look at these shoes, man.
That's an idea that we could at least do virtually.
Josh
online.
Gordon will have a job again.
Josh Gordon. Oh yeah. You're allowed to, in my league, you can smoke as much pot as you want.
Yeah.
Now the other sports story that we missed. This is a big one too.
We don't have halftime. We actually chill out.
Oh, chill time.
Yeah, chill time.
Okay.
420 break.
Everybody smokes. I'm telling you, I would get ready.
CTE.
Hey, OJ, you liking that?
Oh, I love me some good green, man. I love it. You know what?
Two things he loves: murdering people and.
I never murdered anybody, as far as you know.
It is speculation on my part.
Look,
I have to admit. I wasn't there. I didn't see it.
At night, I get high, smoke a real good indica, and then I get on the internet and try to track down what really happened.
Okay, as long as you're still at work. Tracking down the real killer.
That's right.
Now, the next big sports story from Atlanta is that construction crews have removed all of SunTrust Park signage as the park prepares for a whole new name.
Well, we know what the name is going to be, but I guess people don't know if they're going to call it.
It's not confirmed whether it's going to be Truist Park
But that's the name of the new bank, right? Truist.
That's the name of the new bank, yes. But
so what else are they going to call it? It's not going to be
Truist
called
Field.
It's not going to be called AT&T Park.
Why not call it Turner Field 2? T2.
Because it's not owned by Ted Turner anymore. And T2 was a fine film. That's for sure.
Why don't they call it the mall?
Oh, do you not like it? Do you find it to
it's a mall.
Oh, I want to go to the middle of Baltimore, Grody and Nessa, disgusting
That's
places.
not where their stadium
Why
is.
can't I find a dive bar that... No, I know where the Baltimore Stadium is.
It's in a nice part of town.
Well, it's a gentrified part of town.
Right.
And,
I don't know.
so
It just looks prefab.
Who cares? It's fun. You hang out.
It's like a bowl full
You
of
hang
logos.
out.
It's a bowl of logos.
It's a
the logo bowl.
It's a logo bowl, but it also it's a built-in thing that keeps you from becoming an alcoholic, because every beer costs $37.
That's true.
No one can afford to be an alcoholic there. I like it there. I like it. I think it's
the Battery, right?
The Battery.
Yeah.
I like the way that every place has kind of open air and it's very.
I'm triggered.
It's
I
fun.
don't think it should be called the Battery.
I apologize. I know that you had a rough time with your 15th husband.
Yeah.
And it was a very brief, thankfully, it was a brief
Yes,
marriage. It lasted
but also, I mean,
for hours.
why are we doing this? Why are we naming it? So I don't even know where that comes
Why
from.
is
the
that?
Battery.
I can tell you exactly
it's a
why
good
it's called
question.
Battery.
No, hold on, because there's the Battery in New York City, right? There's why are certain areas commons type players
this
called
one,
the Battery?
It's a baseball term. Your pitcher and catcher that you pitch and that you usually have. That you usually the catcher that usually.
He's got good battery.
That's right. Just like going, I went to the haberdashery and then I went to the Battery.
I would tell you, this kid, he hits it over the wall. He's got good battery.
The combination of a pitcher and a catcher are called battery mates.
Oh.
And
Battery mates?
oftentimes the same catcher will catch for the same pitcher.
I don't know why,
around.
but Siri says to me I don't have an answer for that.
No, she's dumb.
I don't know what.
She doesn't know what a battery is.
They're
either.
called battery mates, pitcher and catcher.
Is that why it's called the Battery? But there's the
But John
place down
Rocker
by
had a battery, mate.
He was experimental.
Oh, okay.
There's, isn't there a place in New York City down by the water?
Yes, it's called the Battery.
So I don't know. I don't think it's just because of that. I think for some reason there's a reason to call certain areas. I want to call it commons or something like that. It's called the Battery. I don't know if you're right or not.
I am right.
But I like
this
it. Well,
case.
you may be right that happens, but that may or may not be the reason it's called the Battery. What did they call the Battery? Was it Babe Ruth was the reason they called the area in New York City the Battery?
Absolutely. I'll double down on it.
Fattery.
What are you, fat shaming Babe Ruth?
He ate hot dogs. That's all he ate.
Too soon. But not too soon to end the show, because that music says we're done on the radio side. I don't know why. It's not in my contract. I just don't know how to stop. We don't just do 3 hours on the radio. We're about to go over and do the podcast 30. And you can join us in two places. You can go to the Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page or the WSB Radio Facebook page. There's a red box. You click on it. You're watching us do the podcast 30. Otherwise, we're going to come back. I've checked with management. We have a show to do tomorrow as well. We're going to start at 9 a.m. Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. From this music. Hey, podcast 30. Tim Andrews is here. English Nick has got his hat. J-Rad rocking the tunes. Autumn Fisher doing something I think vaguely sexual. I don't know. And Greg Russ from Studio B1. That's right.
Texting.
You have a anybody here sexed? Well, you probably do, Jerry. Mm-hmm. Oh no, this one right here. This one right here.
100% this
that
one
old
right
man
here.
junk is all over the internet, I'll bet.
Ignore
those
white ones.
No, never pictures. Never pictures. Are you kidding me?
But I mean, when you sext whoever your interest is, your love interest, do you use it? Is it like English vernacular? Like I'd like to get a look at that bum. Because to me,
I'm
gonna bugger you, right?
Yeah, I would think.
I'm dealing with American girls here.
You want to look at a homeless person? I don't understand that.
What?
Why do you want to look at a bum?
Oh, he's talking about bums.
See, if you use
confusion.
No,
same
because-
language but different meanings.
Yeah, American girls don't really understand that vernacular.
You want a shag? No, I like hardwoods.
Give me an example. So do I. Give me an example. Give me an example.
Is there something in the air today?
Of you sexting? Just as some sort of like. I mean, don't be too graphic. But I mean,
No, how do
if
you
you're
do it without being
if you're
graphic?
getting just a little randy, the first sext when you're.
Hang on, let me have a look.
It's a flyer. Like you want to see if she's in the mood
Listen,
for a little
she
naughty
would
talk.
she would say something like, "I'm thinking about you," and then he'd like, "What are you thinking about?"
Yeah, this.
Stuff like that.
Here's a big picture.
For instance, I said I wanted to do something all the time,
Yeah.
and the response was, "I love it when you do."
Okay, can I ask you something? I will tell you that even in terms of sex, there's nothing I would want to do all the time.
Really?
No. No. I would tell you that you have more energy than I do in our
I know.
advanced age.
I have energy all the time. You know that. I'm always
I know.
going, always doing stuff.
But would you really want to have sex all the time? You're not
90
going to be able to
minutes.
binge all those shows.
With the right person, yes.
No, it gets boring even with the right person.
No, you're talking about. He's not talking about the final act.
No,
he's talking about things that lead up.
Spending
to it.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about.
Oh, well,
no, you don't want to do that
Clapping your hands?
forever.
You can do it and then take a break.
An hour of this?
No, nobody wants that. No one.
By the way, that's what I call sex. You see my hands? That's how I do it.
Yeah.
What, you just slap at it?
This is me. This is how I masturbate.
Ow!
Caroline, turn off the Facebook Live.
No,
now,
you're taking it. This is the whole thing.
What's Greg doing?
Oh, he's making that old fifth grade noise.
Look,
you think that I'm saying something I'm not saying. I'm saying that's it.
You don't touch anything. You just go like that.
No, that's just it. I just sit at my desk and go.
Oh.
Look, if
I'm done.
Maybe eventually you'll arrive. Who knows?
I mean,
I'll tell you something.
with dudes, eventually, no matter what you're doing to it, it'll eventually arrive.
That's how I announce it. I'm gonna arrive. I'm going to arrive.
I'm arriving.
All right, you
arriving.
two. You guys with your.
I've arrived.
I'm tired of
now.
your,
You leave.
I usually don't get here this early.
Jockery.
The great Steven Tyler said it best: living on the edge from time to time.
Ooh,
Is that what he was talking about?
He was a gooner?
I could spend a
Bring
couple.
yourself right up to the edge and pull back.
I can spend
over and over.
a whole day with the right person just that way.
Oh man.
I would be so bored.
Oh no, not at all.
No.
Imagine how smelly it would be.
Oh, God! After a while,
man,
you gotta
oh,
you gotta work a shower in there somewhere.
Yeah, I gotta go wash my
No, just
hands.
continue
you
in the shower.
No, you don't want to. No, you don't.
Jared!
No, who wants to get clean? You want that
Funk?
whole thing.
See, he was raised on a farm.
Yeah.
Hey, this reminds me of being home, eh?
I have a great.
She was raised on a farm.
I have a great immune system. What can I say? I was exposed to a lot of dirt.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
animal poop and stuff.
Like you could handle
Animal poop.
anthrax. Like you would breathe
Yeah,
in
yeah,
anthrax,
exactly.
no problem.
Get out in the garden, my sonner, and dig the vegetables up. That's what you got to do this afternoon.
All right, enough of the shock
All right.
jockery. I find this is a very refined show.
We've gotten pretty X-rated on the podcast this week. You were using the P word the other day.
Don't we have Obamacare to talk about or something like that?
Yeah, we got. Hey, they blew it all. They blew up the whole house.
Aren't we going to war?
No talk about Obamacare.
We're not going to war. And so everything's boring. I'm not coming back on the air until there's a war to cover.
You want to hear about?
You warmonger.
This resolution is BS.
Yeah, of course it is. Oh, yeah.
What a
Did we talk
personal-
about that?
Oh, he's up there now.
Okay, Autumn, you were going to tell us something.
Yes,
you have something that you want to tell us.
Get off
Yeah.
your chest.
Well,
So you're wondering the origin of battery.
Yeah.
And Jared is right that in the baseball sense, it's the pitcher and the catcher in a game considered as a unit.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about, Eric, like as a location, is a fortified emplacement for heavy guns. So maybe at some point, you're talking about in New York, maybe
In
that
New York, the
area
Battery.
was.
It's a southern tip of Manhattan.
Yeah,
because-
so it's called the Battery because it was
They had a
fortified.
Yeah.
Or like the
Okay.
Charleston Battery, obviously Fort Sumter.
But you're saying to me that
An artillery subunit of guns, men, and vehicles.
but the Battery at SunTrust Park.
It's to do with batting.
That has to do with baseball.
Yeah, the pitcher and the catcher.
Yes, because it is.
I thought that was Midtown.
Hey, whoa, shock jock. Shock jock. Didn't we used to have a thing I used to
Yes,
have?
we did.
Shock jock. Was it this show or the other show?
No, it was not this show. It was the other show.
Oh, it was the other show? Look at me. I'm getting so old. I'm mixing
You're
shows.
forgetting.
I don't know. I thought we did it here.
Question for
All right,
Jerry.
who was mic'd up today?
That was Jared was
Do not bring that up.
Jared was why you didn't like the mic'd up years?
No,
people don't even know what we're talking about.
Hey, if you need me to go downtown,
Do you know how long ago that was? Like we think that we can
10
just
years ago
dovetail into. No, I think I was there until what 2013.
Yeah.
All right, so that's not 10 years, but
Well, doing mic'd up was
like 8 years ago since I was on it, and then
do the
probably 6 years ago since there was even a show called
75
that, right?
years ago.
So to us, we think we can just talk about it, and everybody knows what the hell we're talking about.
they
but I
don't.
bet you they don't.
The big
yes,
fans.
yes,
Dave.
Greg.
Big fans.
Well, I was going to say there's also a hot new game show you can parody called Hollywood Squares.
Oh yeah, you know what? I liked Hollywood Square. I liked, what do we call it? Celebrity Square. What do we call it?
I'm offended that Greg said that because that was to highlight my talents.
What was it called?
It was called the Regular Guy Square.
That's right. I always liked that because I could write you little notes and we could get,
Yes.
and it was fun. And I enjoyed, obviously, the reason that I brought you over here. The reason you're here is because of the Regular Guy Squares. Because you could obviously go
Was it
from
my
one
producer
voice.
Skills?
That was a spring. That was a
As a matter
springboard.
of fact, that's one of the reasons you almost didn't end up here was your producing skills.
I hate this play.
But it was just it was
Go on, Tim. Storm out.
it's just that idea that you could jump from one voice to another.
Oh, it was so much
know
fun.
what you were doing.
You
and
write
that's-
little like Jared does,
Yeah.
but timely.
Yeah. What do we do? Well, what do we do here? What do we do here?
Jerry
But
do to you?
Nothing.
Regular Guy Squares all day long.
Right.
Really. That's all that it is.
Okay, two things
Look
here.
it up, kid. Regular
Jared,
Here
just know Tim is jealous of your great producing skills. Know that. That's why that happened.
I think Tim was a great
And-
producer. I think
No,
he was
he
just
wasn't.
misunderstood.
No, that
you
was
guys,
terrible. I
would
hated
you
it.
guys like to hear a recording of a homeless guy doing karaoke and try to guess what song he's singing?
Oh, yeah. That's coming. We're going to bring that back.
I didn't come up with that, so I'm not offended.
That
I think
worked.
that was funny.
It worked for a while. It worked for a while.
Yeah,
It's just like,
yeah.
why are you doing it 8 years later?
Seabass took
Laziness.
all those bits and rearranged them and made them funny.
Seabass was the only reason that show had anything to offer for the last 2
You
years.
should follow him on Instagram under
Excuse me, the Bieber bit. Thanks.
Oh, well, I was gone then, so it doesn't count.
You should follow him on Instagram under Cart Narcs. He goes around and stops people from not putting their carts in the cart corral
Oh, that
in
sounds
a
fun.
parking
No,
lot.
he's funny though. I'll tell
It's
you
really
something.
funny.
He was not afraid of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for a while, in the first couple of years, maybe for the first year, he had nowhere to live. This kid was sleeping in ditches in the
I was
city.
wondering how real that was.
He had an
Construction
RV by the
sites.
Pink Pony.
No, that was after.
Oh, wow.
That was the luxury years. In
Wait,
the very,
wait,
in-
so
hold
when he
on,
was
hold
living
on. In the
you
very
just said it.
beginning, he would roll up in like construction sites downtown and sleep, and then come in. He tried to sleep at the station, but they kicked him out. And nobody
Who
thought
kicked him out?
I don't know. People
Management.
complained because he had like hobo like hobo style. He would
All
have.
right. Well, if
he
you're
would
not
have
discreet about it, then
he would
maybe
have
you
a
should get kicked
he would
out.
have a bundle of clothes behind like a board or something like. I mean,
He
what the hell's
slept in
going
the
on here?
studio behind the board.
Yeah. And so but rather than somebody saying, "Hey, this kid's doing a lot of good work for us, maybe we should try to work this out somehow, figure out a way that you can
Give him a hand.
get out of here,
They
but
don't-
have
they
those
don't-
bits by tomorrow morning."
Yeah, they don't know what good work is. Also, he is one of those people. If he got shivved, you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense to
Yeah.
me.
There'd be
Now,
no
I don't know
shock.
if he's mellowed a little bit as he's gotten older, but he was not afraid of anybody, and
Well,
he would go do bits that he, by all rights, should have been punched in the face for.
He and I did a bit. Well, you weren't there, but it was called Interview Interrupted. So he would show up in a suit, looking like a reporter, and then I'd show up as like some bum and just start arguing with the person he was interviewing, and I almost got punched twice. Once by it was a pit bull rescue group, so some sturdy ladies.
Yeah,
and
Sturdy
lesbians.
ladies.
Oh, I said sturdy ladies. I don't know what their sexual.
We know who rescues dogs in this society.
Me and the Sturdy Ladies.
English Nick and
It's a
all
new
the all
band.
the
That's
great
a new
lesbians.
band.
Nick and the Sturdy Ladies.
There you go.
It's a new band.
And then
English
one-
Nick and the Sturdy Ladies.
One was at the
Come on, love.
the city hall, and they were talking about murals, and nobody wants. I was pretending I was drunk. No, I want to see your crappy mural. This guy wanted to punch me.
I like the fact that an inner city mural artist is brought to violence.
Yes.
Seabass, he's
What's your
producing,
mural about? Peace.
He's producing that show on the West Coast that airs in Atlanta now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to get a commercial. I hear it sucks.
I'm not, I'm just saying.
It's not his fault.
It's
It
not
sucks.
him. He's funny. They don't
did you
use him.
enjoy that, Tim?
What?
Going on the street and getting that audio, being in those situations.
I
feel
did not
you
like.
wouldn't.
I didn't like being the person who had to go out and do it by myself. But that bit was funny, and I wasn't afraid because I knew Seabass was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was our idea.
Yeah, he's like a Ukrainian mercenary.
Yeah, and
like he's gonna go in, like he's gonna jump on the hand grenade if necessary.
Right.
You know?
Right. But and then the other bit we did at the studio, we did fake casting calls. We'd put ads up on Craigslist, and then people would come in, and Vinny Bucci would lead them in. He'd dress up, and then we would do these scenes where you'd act out like Godfather 2, and I'm like, spit in my mouth, I'm dying. And like
Wow.
E.T. 2, where you had to have sex
That
with E.T.
sounds like that show got a lot better after I left.
Those bits were great.
You guys were still doing mic'd up?
It was the right
Was I
decision.
the reason we were still doing mic'd up?
It was the right decision after all.
Yeah, that casting call one though, I'm not a big fan of. Like, it's
Do you
probably
remember that?
funny. No, it's not that I'm not a fan of the material. I just think of the person who was actually excited about something.
Yeah,
and you
there's
lured
some
them
of
in.
that.
It's
You know,
at
it's
their
like
expense.
why would you get people? It's not their fault.
Who's going to Dunwoody to do a cast?
Look,
People who are desperate for work.
That's true.
It's called
the lowest of the
exploitation.
low.
It's called exploitation, my friend.
Going to Dunwoody.
I'm sure it was still funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Godfather 4. They're doing the casting in Dunwoody in a
I was thinking of
furniture building.
I was thinking of Vinny Bucci the other day because that Friday SmackDown is so big that brought wrestling to primetime on Fox.
Yeah,
that's the way. Oh, it is on Fox.
And he must be just out of his mind. Like,
Well, that
because
and
I
then-
always thought like one of the reasons I find this human being so boring is that they cannot stop thinking or talking about wrestling.
You got Tony Schiavone has a new league or a new wrestling organization. that's-
AEW?
Yeah, and that's huge.
Jericho's on it, isn't
So
he?
he's
It's
he's
massive.
the champ.
Well, I like him.
And
Schiavone.
And Vinny's actually blown up.
Really?
Yeah,
Good for him.
He ate that car.
AEW?
They did a documentary about him eating a car.
Yeah.
Did anybody see it?
I don't know. I didn't.
AEW, by the way, if you're into wrestling.
It's like old school, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they have a tag team called the Librarians, and they come out to no music, and they hush the crowd.
Ah.
I think it's pretty funny.
That's 80s style. I love that.
That's amazing.
That's hilarious.
Because it's fun. It's not like
Greg,
WWF.
what's the name of the little tiny kid that does that league? He's really small. Like Jericho's always giving him crap about his size. He's
I
like,
don't
show me your
follow it.
ID. What are you, 12 years old? He's
I
like,
don't-
he's a guy,
Yeah.
but he's so tiny.
I don't follow it enough, but
English Nick knows you're a friend of this Chris
Well, a
Jericho.
friend of a friend. Yeah, we hang
Yeah.
out sometimes when he's with
He's in a
guys.
band.
He play. My
Fuzzy.
friend's playing his band. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Randy Drake plays in his band.
Ah, Randy
Plays
Drake.
bass with him, yeah.
Awesome.
I
Good
like
man.
Jericho. He's a cool dude. He's funny.
He's a good man. He's got a very successful podcast. It's crazy.
What do they talk about? Wrestling?
He just interviews he interviews everybody.
Yeah.
He gets all these superstars. And
He's like wrestling's Joe Rogan.
wrestling and rock and roll. And
He's
everything.
no John Cena.
You can't see me.
Hey.
Hey.
I don't even know what that means.
That's his-
I
that's his
really like
slogan.
Batista, his
What?
acting.
Yeah, he's
Who he's
great.
going to be in this film. That's a kid's film. I'm not a big fan of, but that opening scene in Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, that was a good movie.
He was great.
I
in
still
that,
haven't seen that
Bautista.
movie. I saw the end of the Doctor Who. Oh, it's not the end. Second.
You good?
Is it the end for you? You done
No.
watching it, putting yourself
Actually,
through
you
that?
know, there's a couple of things in it that weren't awful.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where if you go 5 minutes where it's not awful, you're like,
You're like,
what?
okay, sure.
I'm confused.
But
How?
can you get into it at that point because you're just waiting for something?
No,
awful to
because the
pop up?
doctor herself is just not a good doctor, and so
I've-
it just doesn't
I've-
work. So, but the person who's playing the master, I like the new master. I like. I know people don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Is it
but I
the
don't
woman
care.
anymore?
Master.
No,
her
it's a
anymore?
guy. They introduced a new guy.
Oh, so now the man is evil. Ooh, I get it.
Well, the master has been a man most of the time.
I don't
He's
know
only
how
a
you
woman
could.
once.
I don't know how
Yes.
you could enjoy it though, because talking about it the way you do and knowing that things come up that are going to annoy you or there's just bad things in the show, it'd be like having a terminal disease
Mhm.
and enjoying life, and then the reality comes back in the middle. Oh yeah, I'm going to die. In 3 weeks.
It's much. It's much like that. I would say it's much like that. But I was surprised that just every once in a while it had kind of a good look, and it was kind of like, oh well, this is actually an interesting idea. And then the doctor would come back on and explain and explain and explain and explain and explain and explain and well, just show some action.
Does she have a sonic
She's
screwdriver?
always well, she's got a. It might as well be a wand at this point. She's a wizard. It's a wizard show for kids.
She's a wizard, Harry.
Hey, you should just call it Dr. Cancer from now on. You know, with Greg's analogy right there.
For the astrological
Just
sign or for
Dr.
the
Cancer.
disease?
That's a disease. Yeah, Dr. Cancer.
Do cancers feel weird being have a, like
if you have it?
No, no. But I mean, just like it just seems like the worst sign to be. I'm cancer.
Oh.
It's just
You
like
okay? Never dated a cancer. I don't know.
Cancer.
That's a water
My name is
sign.
Harry.
Cancer.
There's someone I went on a few dates with a while ago in 2013, but she posted online that she has cancer and is going to die in
What?
2 years at the max. It's a strange thing. I
No,
don't.
listen, man. I've lost a couple people in the last couple of years, young, and yeah, it's just terrible. It's just awful. It's just I mean, like I'm telling anybody something they don't know, but it's just in life. It's just like as you get older, if you keep living, then you're going to keep dealing with these people who are going to get this.
Sometimes,
thing,
friend of mine's mother, who's now she's in her 60s, I think. She 5, 6, 7 years ago, 3 brain tumors. First doctor they go to at the hospital where she volunteers. He's like, said to the husband, "Take your wife home. She's got 6 months."
Really?
Second opinion with a younger doctor at a different hospital one time. Oh, we can totally got this new laser technology. We'll go in there. They got rid of the 2 smaller ones completely. And then it could only take some of the bigger one because it was attached.
Right.
But she's still living.
So here's the thing: is that it makes sense, and I'm not even really joking about this. If you have cancer, you want to go to the young doctors because
This
they're
guy
the ones
just graduated
got
from
the
Emory.
latest schooling on
He just
everything.
graduated.
Hey, you don't want like the 70-year-old guy who's still filing with papers. Oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do for you.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel
Yeah,
like maybe you
let
get
me
a
find
point
my
in your
notes.
career, and it's very cynical of me, but you get to be older, and you're like, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
And I want, again, I'm not making a joke. I feel like that some people, the older doctors, like, that's too much.
Yeah, like I don't.
wanna
Yeah,
deal with
yeah.
it.
It's
but
just
at
too
that
much.
point, if you feel that way, just retire, man. Get out of it.
Or just say, you know what, you should go, I'm gonna
Refer
you
yeah.
to this guy who's got some energy.
Yeah.
It's like that Louis C.K. joke. He has his grandmother.
canceled.
His grandmother
Yeah.
has cancer, and he's at the old doctor is like, she probably has tumors in her head.
In her head, not where. Not where. Yeah. So, well, I'm sorry about that. I hate just like there was a story yesterday about how we have less cancer in the last year than ever before.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg has beat cancer 4 times.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg has got the best doctors in the world, though. You know, if you're that high up, that's why all the ex-presidents lived to be 92.
Jimmy Carter,
93.
95.
H.W. Bush was 92. Barbara Bush was 90-something. Because they all have these doctors. If they cough, they get a full checkup. So everything is caught immediately. If Jimmy Carter hadn't been a president and he was just a guy who lived in Plains, Georgia, I don't think that he was.
He would have ended up at some hospital wherever it was local,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't have done one weird thing, and that would have
Right.
led to something else happening, and then he gets pneumonia and he dies.
Right. If you're considered a national treasure of some kind, then you've got the best doctors constantly.
The old Duke and Duchess got to kiss that goodbye. Prince and
Oh yeah, because Prince
they're
Harry's
backing
gonna.
off.
I want to work at a gas station. What the hell are you talking about?
Fill it up. I feel like with Ginsburg, if Trump is reelected, it actually could prolong her life because there's a reason for her to continue to
Stay
live.
alive.
Yeah.
Yes.
But she is 86 or 87, isn't she? I mean,
Yeah, she's up there.
even Tom Brady, I feel pretty good that he will be out of the league
by then
at 86.
Oh
or
yeah,
87.
he might come back for one more year,
Maybe.
right?
You slow down.
That's what he said.
Is he back next season?
He's still got something to prove, he says.
I think. Yeah. What has he got?
Yeah,
to
but
prove?
with Patriots.
What has he got? Wait, what has he got? Hold on, Tom. As a Buffalo Bills fan, you have nothing left to prove. Tom, as an Atlanta Falcons fan,
Nothing.
You have nothing left to prove. What does he have to prove? People said I could never win 7 Super Bowls. Who said that? Who said when you were a kid, you'll never win 7 Super Bowls? What does he have to prove?
he has to play long enough for the Giants to make it back to the Super Bowl so he can beat them.
Oh, that's what it is. Now he's got to wait for Daniel Jones to get good enough to get to the Giants.
Maybe he's always put under the Belichick umbrella, so maybe he wants to win
Well,
away
I
from
think,
Belichick.
I think him saying he has something left to prove, they could have franchised, no, they can't franchise him, but they could have given him a deal.
Yeah,
Whatever. They didn't do
totally.
it. I think he's going to. People talk about the Chargers.
Really?
I don't know, but
Chargers
I think
make sense.
Yeah, why does he want to get sacked every
Phillip
play?
Rivers is already. No, they have a better offensive line in Los Angeles, but Phillip Rivers is already an aging good quarterback. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame.
I
Do you
think,
think Phillip Rivers?
if you had a choice, I don't think Phillip Rivers is.
You don't think Phillip Rivers is going to the Hall of Fame?
No, I mean,
Phil Riv? No.
Before Eli, who isn't?
No, Eli's going to go. He's got
man-
2 Super
No,
Bowls.
Eli's 50-50. Like, his whole career is 500.
I know, but he
Famous.
won 2 Super Bowls, and the 2 Super Bowls that he won were against what everyone acknowledges to be the best quarterback and coach tandem in history.
Yeah.
Is Manning going to play again or not? Is he done?
Eli wants to come back
Yeah.
and
He
play
does?
somewhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
he says he wants. He's not going to go back.
I'm
to
really
New York.
surprised
Maybe the Chargers sign all 3 of them. Sign Eli, Tom, and Phillip
You mean
Rivers.
he'll have to go to the team that he didn't want to play for?
yeah, exactly. Well, he cried for. Remember, he cried when he got drafted. I don't want to be on the Chargers.
No, it was the Chargers he didn't want to go.
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't see
His
Brady
dad
leaving.
stepped in. His dad's
You know my favorite thing is when people say, "Hey, be careful! Be careful with these college coaches." You know, Nick Saban, he didn't work in the NFL. You know, when Nick Saban was the Miami Dolphins head coach, he was like, "I would like to have Drew Brees as my quarterback." They brought him in, and the Miami Dolphins doctor said, "He'll never play again. He's no good. Don't take him." So my guess is, if Nick Saban would have gotten Drew Brees, then he probably would have done okay as an NFL coach.
Right.
As opposed to, who did he have? Like Fiedler at the time. Well, I don't know. Jay Fiedler.
That guy was a beast, number 9.
Brees started with the Chargers, and he got a shoulder injury, and there was some question. The Dolphins had him first, and the doctors waved him off, and New Orleans took him. Nick Saban didn't work in the NFL.
Hey, you were talking earlier about the XFL because Murray is playing there.
Yeah, he plays in all these leagues.
Did this league launch yet? Did this?
No,
new
it starts
XFL?
after the Super Bowl.
Starts after the Super Bowl, and supposedly it's going to be better than that AFL.
Thank goodness. I'm a Houston Roughnecks.
They don't have rules where people can get hurt, but they do have rules to make things quicker. So, and also you can do a double forward pass.
A double forward pass. So I can pass it to you, and then you can pass it to somebody else?
As long as it's behind the line of scrimmage, yes.
That's interesting.
So the quarterback could drop back, pass, and then the other guy.
Behind the original
behind the line of scrimmage.
Okay, I follow.
Okay.
Are they
I got you too.
using real names this time, or is it going to be those wrestler names?
No, it's a legit football league. They're trying.
And they did something that was very interesting is the league decided who the starting quarterbacks are going to be, and they assigned them to different teams so that no team starts off with an awful quarterback that can't get things. So whatever the 8 teams are, the league has decided you each have a quarterback who can get things done. So you're not going to have, And meanwhile, of course, Colin Kaepernick, he's not playing. Why doesn't he go to all these things?
I don't want to play.
Where?
I just want to agitate.
Is that going to be in Atlanta? The XFL?
There isn't.
No. That's why I'm pledging my allegiance to the Houston Roughnecks.
I'm Tampa Bay, baby.
The Roughnecks? What is
Yeah.
that? Is that a lesbian team?
Perhaps.
Hey.
Roughneck is not. I'm sorry. That's 2 hits on lesbians. I apologize.
Yeah.
I
Come on.
absolutely
Some of my
love-
best friends are lesbians.
You know what? I'm better than that.
Yeah, you are.
I love
I said
lesbians.
sturdy.
Who would rescue the dogs?
The sturdy women.
Me.
Yes.
Nick would. How many dogs do you have now, Nick?
2.
I should have said, is it Canadian? Because to me, that's a Roughnecks. That's a Canadian kind
I'm not
of team.
sure how the name process went,
Roughnecks.
but that's their name.
This kid's got a roughneck.
The
What does
leather
that mean?
faces.
Yeah, the
I'm looking it up.
Hey, one of our
This guy's been smoking cigarettes and laying out in the sun way too much.
The jerky skins.
The leather faces.
The Arizona leather faces.
we were talking about
Rugby ATL.
Our rugby ATL team. One of our listeners is a season ticket holder, so he offered Nick and I tickets to go see.
But then he said he's going to use them himself this weekend.
Well, yeah, but
it's only-
eventually.
This is an exhibition game against New Orleans on Sunday. It's only $20 for a really great seat.
Exhibition rugby. Oh,
Yeah.
I won't miss it.
Oh, stop. There's a tailgate at noon, then the game's at 3. Rugby ATL against the New York. New Orleans Goldies or Golds or something.
Oh, the Goldies.
Something like that.
Hi. Let's play rugby. We called it something else in the 60s.
Called it grab ass.
Rugby ATL. It's going to be
A
fun.
roughneck is a term for a person whose occupation is hard manual labor.
That sounds patriarchal to me.
I'm triggered by that.
What's going on with the XFL?
Why? It says a person. It says a person.
But talk about men.
What about the Vipers?
No, they're not. Listen, I know plenty of women who work on like oil rigs.
Oh yeah,
so-
absolutely. There's so many.
The secretaries.
What is with
Oh,
you?
come
What is with you?
That was an easy joke.
I just,
That's too easy.
it's not 1997.
Or in 2007.
It's not even 2017.
I
You see
know.
plenty of women working on construction sites and on,
Yeah.
on road works and stuff like that.
I know. I go
Yeah,
down there
holding
and
that sign.
I whistle at them.
The slow and the stop sign.
No, I passed one.
Is that
on-
the dumbest guy? Like the guy who does that? Is that the one who's like, you know what? Get him out of here. I know he's pensioned.
with the slow and stop sign?
Yeah, does it? I think
That's
I
a
think-
very important
I think
job.
I think they're warning you. That's their mental
It's a
level.
very important job.
It's like, slow. Are you? Is that referring to you or me?
In Pennsylvania, they're patronage jobs because if your parents were Democrats when I grew up, you could get a job doing that.
But that'd be a horrible job. The day would
A
go by
summertime.
so slowly.
You know what they do in-
Standing there, I'd rather be doing something.
But
England-
sometimes people with that mindset are like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I make 13 whatever dollars an hour. All I have to do is stand here with this sign and turn it when the other person turns theirs.
What currency is that? The whatever dollar. What is that from? 13 whatever
13
dollars.
whatever dollars.
What if you're
dollars?
What if you're completely wrong? What if that guy is in charge of everything? He's got the easy job. He's not going to work his
Listen,
ass
they've
off.
been doing road work outside of my neighborhood for months,
Yeah.
and it's always the same, like two people that switch between holding the signs, and
Yeah.
either it's the woman who's there,
Yeah.
or it's the dude who does not wave and looks miserable
Yeah.
and looks like he's dead in the
I
eyes.
always acknowledge
He's
those
basic-
people.
You know, so do I. But he's a. Well, I think what you're saying here, but you're not this cruel. Is in the grocery store context, he would be bagging your groceries. Yep.
You know
It's
what?
the same guy.
No, he would be cleaning behind the deli. Not even bagging, because the bagging people are
You
like,
gotta be
"Do you want
out
me to
there.
take this to your car?"
Stocking shelves.
You know, in the UK, when they do roadworks construction, they set up temporary traffic lights that have a sensor.
Mm-hmm.
And they run on a generator or whatever, so there's nobody
Oh,
nobody
it
has
takes
to do
away
that.
the jobs, mate.
Well, there's always the Skittles. That's the kind of guy who would do the
I'll
Skittles.
do that.
You can do the
That's
stop
why
and
Paul
go.
Skittles
I
is still
know.
doing the Skittles pickup, because the technology.
They took it away from me. I was having to hold a sign, and then they came out with the fancy lights.
You know what the difference between slow and stop?
I do. Slow is go slow.
And
stop is don't go at all.
That's right. So you got what it
He's
takes.
smart.
It's being replaced by AI.
That's fine. You know what?
Your intelligence is being replaced by artificial intelligence.
Well, I can still put up a Skittle pin better than a robot.
That's right.
Can you get a ticket if you disobey the stop sign guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can.
He has that kind of authority.
No, but
really.
very often there's a cop.
He blows a whistle.
Very often there's a cop on duty who's overseeing things above those guys.
Fines are doubled if you do that, so they don't.
Well, that's
advise.
speeding.
No, he doesn't
That's a
have the
construction
authority.
zone.
He doesn't have the authority, but he is deputized, I think, in some way, because you are
What's
on
he
the
gonna run-
public roads.
Is he gonna run after you?
He blows a whistle.
It's really social contract.
I love those old movies, like from London, where they're blowing whistles in the middle of London. It's
Yeah.
like, obviously, they're going to get this guy.
It's like a human siren. Isn't
He's on foot.
Couldn't
Hear
run
the
that
whistle,
hat
you
on.
stop.
They still wear those hats, those bobby hats. They still wear those.
The constables wear the boob hats.
The
Yeah.
English.
Who's that man with a
They
tit
love
on his
whistles. I think World War One was ended. When I blow this whistle, doesn't World War One? Like,
Yeah, I think
it
so.
ended with a whistle. When I blow this whistle,
it's safe.
This useless war that killed a whole bunch of people for no good reason will be over.
Well, the whistle
Although-
used to hold some weight. Remember working at the factory? Remember those days, Eric?
Oh.
That whistle would blow.
I remember.
That's an air. That's a.
Man, Bruce
Yeah,
Springsteen.
it was a steam whistle.
Bruce,
Still-
Bruce Springsteen and I used to work in the factory, and sometimes I'd have to cover his shifts.
Steel mill, right?
I would have to
Yeah.
cover his shifts because
He was driving out, little Susie out to the edge of town.
No,
He had a gig-
no,
he had a gig that night.
No, he had more than a gig. Like we would be finishing up, be like 3 o'clock, 2 hours left before the shift was over, and Bruce would say, "Hey, I'm playing at Madison Square Garden tonight. You mind if I knock off early?" I'd be like, "Hey, Bruce, no problem, man. I'm gonna stand in. I got your shift. You go play before 18,000 people at Madison Square
Can I have
Garden."
your apple from your lunch pail, Bruce?
That's what people don't realize about Bruce Springsteen is all that success.
Yeah.
He never missed a shift at the steel mill.
Wow.
I mean,
Didn't
you
he
know,
help build
and,
the
you know,
George Washington Bridge?
Four
Well,
and
he
a
was
half-
in that film, Workers Leaving the Factory.
Yeah.
Right? 1895.
Yeah, 4.5 hour shows, and then he's there at work at 8 a.m. when the whistle blows, which is a song. 4.5 hour shows, and then the whistle blows.
Then who knows?
Who knows?
I got to build roads.
That's nobody else did. Mick Jagger didn't work at a factory during the rise of
Mick
the
was
Rolling
straight out of
Stones.
school, I think.
That's right. He was a fancy pants is what he was.
Yeah, Mick was lazy, but you know what? I was really good at cutting cocaine.
What are you doing here?
Shut up, Keith.
I
Shut
didn't
up.
even pull you in,
I'm
Keith.
sorry.
Hey, is that stuff at the bottom of the grinder called Keith Richards or no?
Oh, I didn't know it was called Keith.
It's called Keith.
I have a friend called Kiefer who's a great trombone player.
The little pollen at the bottom of the
Isn't that yogurt
Yeah.
milk?
Yeah, Kiefer.
It's called Keith, and I
I
always
snort
for
it, mate.
some reason I
You
assume
ever snort Keith?
it's the really high-powered stuff. So I thought
It's
it was named
pollen,
after
isn't it?
Keith.
Hey, you know, Keith's buddy Jimmy Page is 76 today.
Yes, the drooling lust.
He doesn't drool when he's not on heroin, when he's not on
You ever
stage.
see him on stage?
I'm
He
still,
does.
I got to do
Keef
Sorry.
refers.
Sweats a lot, doesn't he, Jim?
Keef refers to the resin glands which contain the terpene cannabinoids
terpene.
that make
Research, right.
cannabis so unique.
Yeah.
While
Oh, there you go.
now marijuana sans keef still contains cannabinoids The resin glands that develop on flower buds pack the biggest punch.
And for some reason, that stuff drops to the bottom of the grinder.
That's
and
right.
you wait, if you're patient, you wait 3 or 4 months.
No way that's as good as black tar heroin.
Oh, Keith, no, of course not. But I'm saying.
Black tar. No, that's too much work. White china. That's what you want.
I like doing the work, man. I'm not lazy.
That's right. You want to work for your high,
I crack
right,
my
Keith?
eggs. I don't buy
He's not racist when it comes to his heroin.
All right, back to wherever you came from.
Thank you.
And off he goes. Poof.
All right.
We have 15 seconds to cover. Here.
What are we going to do? What should we talk about?
Let's just count. 15,
10,
14, 13.
Oh, there it is.
No!
Fiona Hughes, right, Greg? She's the best.
Hey, does anybody...
Mammy Paris is the best.
Does anybody say meow in cats?
There's a lot of bad cat jokes.
Do they purr?
What's wrong? Cat got your tongue?
Crikey. Do they purr?
Oh, hold on. Stop it. I can't top that one. We're done. Goodbye. Turn this crap off. Bonus content from the Von Haessler Doctrine.
I need some Leah Salonga to cleanse my
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Do you,
Play some Neos. Oh, please.
Go on.
Please, stop with the...
Go on, Eric. Ask the question.
There's
Miss
only
Saigon,
one.
please.
There's only one
La,
lady.
la, la,
What are-
Miss
you guys going to start
Saigon,
talking
la,
about
Miss
Patty LaPone next?
No,
Yeah.
she's a grouchy old
The
lady.
hills are alive.
Cheetah Rivera. I'm going to talk about Cheetah.
She wasn't always a grouchy old lady.
Get out of here with that phone!
Yeah.
At any point, do 2 of the cats rear up on each other and go, and then,
Some of them miss.
Is there any scruffing going on in where one of the cats grabs him by the back of the neck like that?
Any of them get hit by a car in La Vista Road?
You pick up your kittens like that.
do any
What? No, you didn't.
do any of
Did you?
do any of the cats vomit in the house for no good reason?
One does shoot a hairball at a bad cat.
Okay. Oh, they're
It's
controlled.
actually Corden. Corden shoots a hairball.
Oh, Bagalicious cat.
Yeah, I want to tell you, I wasn't sure if I think in the middle of that cat review, you got a little worried that we were actually doing it, but that reaction from Alan, when you got Alan on the side saying that was good, this guy has no interest in cats.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about 2020. This show is so big now. The only way we can get bigger is just by being different. I'm very unleashed.
Can I do more
2020.
movie reviews?
No.
I go see them?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll do them at 11:30.
You can do them whenever. I don't care.
What, 11:30? That's when the crowd gets bigger.
Okay, yeah, do it 11:30.
I'll do it at any time.
Our biggest crowds are for the first 30 minutes and for the last 30 minutes.
But I want to have real discussions. I think we have good discussions about movies.
Yeah.
People like that.
What's Autumn playing?
Come in, Pete Spriggs.
I want to play something now, too.
Shut up.
Marius.
Shut up.
Pete Spriggs likes the movie reviews.
Hey, Pete Spriggs is walking in.
Yeah, he likes the
Turn
movie
that
reviews.
Turn that down.
Can hardly
Shut up.
hurt
My
me
boss
now.
is in the room.
Do you want to raise pizza?
Pizza.
My boss.
It's only me.
We're not broadcasting. We're just on with Facebook. The Facebook people.
Pete, did my boss find you this morning? He was looking for you.
One question at a time,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Did my
Pete,
boss
do you
find
love
you?
me?
No.
He was looking for you when I came in.
I didn't see your boss.
Pete hasn't got headphones. He can hear you.
Question, next question. What do you want?
Tim, what's your question?
Tim,
I don't have a
He's
question.
checked out mentally.
I'm not checked
Look
out,
at him
man. I
over
was
there.
just singing.
Look at him over there.
All right, Pete's
Look
got
at me bringing
Pete
up Les
Spriggs.
Mis to listen to on the way home.
Pete's got his ears on now.
Pete Spriggs.
Yeah.
Did you come in to
You're
tell me?
you guys are peaking at the wrong time in the ratings.
Really?
Yeah.
What time? 9:30 on a Thursday?
Holiday week 2, holiday book, which nobody cares about.
Yeah.
You're number 2 in the market.
Look at that.
Wow.
Where's my favorite radio station in that?
Well, this Christmas show was so good that people. That's what it was.
Well, this was the week leading up to the Christmas show, but not including.
What?
It was 12/12 through 12/18.
I quit.
So the Wednesday before you guys
I quit.
did the Christmas show.
I quit. If you're going to disrespect me like this in front of my audience, then
Those ratings aren't out yet. They're not out yet.
I'm out. Well,
Yeah, those ratings are not out yet.
How did
and
Dr. Joe
by the way, we're number
Greg-
one with
Greg
everybody.
makes a great
We're
point.
number one with everybody all the time.
There's no way that mustache that Greg had would do anything but take us to number 1.
Power Pod should have put us over there.
I want a billboard,
Hey,
though.
the Power Pod looks like it had great ratings.
Sure.
It
People
was on
tuned
that
in
rate.
thinking they were going to get me.
Wow.
Yeah, but they could have turned off as soon as they realized it wasn't you.
We'll
And they
see.
didn't. They stuck around for the pod.
This guy,
Pete.
Potty thing.
I think Jared and the
I want to go to the
power
potty.
good.
The
I think
power
it's very
potty.
good.
I got the potty.
What did you
Hey,
just say?
Pete, I want a weekend show.
You want one?
Pete wants a
Yeah.
weekend show.
I won't be a
Greg.
diva. I won't be like these people who come in and act like they're important. I
Do you
know
know
that I'm
anything
a piece of
about
crap.
conspiracies?
Let me just tell you, Greg, it's so fatiguing. Seriously, everybody is like, I can't. If I put one person on,
I
the rest
know.
of them cry.
Everybody wants a crack.
If somebody fills in for Von Haessler, they get mad at me
Yep.
for that. Why not me? Mopey.
Not everybody can walk. Not everybody can
It's
walk in to
embarrassing.
this radio station, take a seat.
Some people don't have that problem. They
Not
have enough
everybody
talent in the building. You have a lot of talent in the building.
Not everybody can walk into this building, take a seat on the bench, get put into a couple of games, and immediately become a starter. Only the very special people
Mark
like
Aram did a
Eric
great-
Von Haessler.
Mark Aram did a great job with that.
Yeah. Well, Pete, I want you to know.
He was doing traffic in the ad count.
No, you did. You're right. Yes, Greg. Yes.
I want you to know that I already know that I'm a piece of crap. So if that ever happened, I wouldn't be bothering. I'd be like, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, Pete, you're the best.
Craig, what the hell are you going to talk about for 2 hours on the
Oh,
weekend?
as if you think that I can't carry
No, I
a
don't.
show.
I don't.
This is
No, I don't. I
unbelievable.
don't think. Without me, I think you're nothing.
Yeah, well, if you need that to keep your ego going so you can have the confidence. This is the thing.
All right, you want to fill in for me? You know what? I want to take MLK Day off. You want to fill in?
Yeah, I'll be there.
They have
but
to do
everybody
it together, though.
No, everybody else comes in.
Oh.
It's just that Greg is the host.
Yes.
And with the Doctrinaires.
I think that
because
would
I
be-
don't think for all the damage that will be done, I don't think it will kill us.
There'll be no damage. This
No
is the
damage.
problem. What kind of damage would be done?
You know, what, you dithering around for 3 hours about this, that, and the other thing?
Eric, come on.
Oh, dither.
Yeah, it's okay, Autumn. He pretends he's our friend, but really all he's ever want to do is hold us down.
Look at this.
Because he needs to be the one who needs to be worshipped.
You see?
Oh, Eric, there he is. Kiss his feet. Because
These
we'll get
kids
a
aren't
free
built
lunch
for it.
out of it.
These kids are not built for it. They don't have thick enough
Built
skin.
of it.
They don't have thick enough skin. They don't have what it takes to go out there and lead on the battlefield.
It
Oh,
is.
they can follow.
It's difficult.
Oh, they can follow a good leader.
No, it's not. We could do a great show, especially if everyone but you.
Yeah.
You know why it would be a good show? Because it wouldn't be me dominating the talk, mic hogging.
that's-
I'd say let's all
Sure.
get together
Sure.
and talk about some of this
That's
stuff.
the first. If that's the first thing you do, is you want a show where the host doesn't stand out. That's the first thing of
Hosts.
success.
Hosts. So what are the what are the
so-
other people on the show?
You're going to let Greg do it before me?
So
Thank
by
you, Pete.
committee.
I was just waiting.
Oh, Lord, I'm out of this
Thank you,
conversation.
Pete.
I was just
So
waiting.
a show hosted by committee. You're a big fan of the Oscars this year. Everybody will be the host.
No, you have someone. What was your old show? That was hosts. You have one person who kind of drives it and steers it, but other people throw in there.
All
That's
right,
what I'm
next
talking
we're gonna
about.
be talking about ladies.
All right, the one that's dead, the show that's dead.
It
and
wasn't
gone?
dead for a long time.
It didn't
though.
die because of the
Oh,
format. It died because of the.
No, it was dead long before
It,
anybody
it
realized
died because of
Don't
certain
Well, the
people
content,
involved.
the content
No,
got
no,
stale.
it
The
rotted
content
on
was a
the
little
vine.
lame by the end.
You told me you had no radio career before WSB.
No,
You
no, no.
lied.
You
His,
guys-
his resume said he was
Yes.
an auto mechanic
be
from
quiet.
1960
Yeah.
through.
You guys keep it down.
He was a member of the. He was actually a member of the royal family before
Yes.
he got in the radio.
I gave it up.
Yeah.
I
Step
decided
back.
I wanted to
So
make,
brave, Eric.
step
You're so
back from-
brave.
want to make my own money, make my way in this world.
Prince
Hey,
Eric.
and Pete, let Tim host it. Just let me join Tim. Then I don't care about being the host.
Yeah.
I just want to be
No,
on
you
without Eric, so we can prove that, to him. Maybe he'd finally actually listen to something other people on his show do for once. Because out of fear, I don't know what would drive it.
Listen to the hatred, the anger.
There's
the
no
rage.
support.
I don't
Zero
have the
support.
ability to tell
Rage.
people to be quiet.
All right, so Tim,
You know what I'm
host
wondering
it.
is if
I
anybody, Pete, this is a question. It's not necessarily a radio question. It's a society
Thank God.
question. It's a
Thank
media
God.
question. Do you think anybody in the radio audience of Atlanta in the year 2020 would have any idea who Autumn or Greg was if it wasn't for me? Let's say I wasn't born. It's a Wonderful Life. I was never born.
They'd probably know.
She works at the library.
They'd know Greg.
Yeah,
as-
she's a
What was Greg's name on
Decker?
Yeah, Decker. They'd know Decker, I think.
Dicker.
Decker.
Oh,
Wasn't his
Decker.
name
Oh, that's a
Decker?
whole nother story.
97.1 The River, it's Decker on your weekend. Here's another song I hate.
Yeah, because you know why? The music's worth hating. Because
I
it's
have to
boring,
leave. I have to leave. though.
unimaginative.
I can't be a part of this conversation.
Now look, you see what you're doing? You're
My boss
putting,
finds out.
You're putting.
I know.
See,
Yeah.
see, this
It's
is
not
what
gonna
Greg
happen.
doesn't
See, we've
understand.
done- we've
He's
wrapped
putting.
it up.
He's putting English Nick in harm's way
On the spot.
by going
No,
after
I-
the.
No, look,
I'm
Nick
kidding.
loves the
I'm
music.
kidding.
He loves
I'm kidding.
it.
I'm
Uh-huh.
kidding.
This is what you
Nick's
get when you
doing
program
exactly what he
director
wants
as
to
a
do.
cop.
Huh?
I didn't hear what you said. I missed it.
I said, this is what you get when your program director used to be a cop.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's in law enforcement.
Did you get kicked out?
All right, now listen.
Greg, I love you.
I got to go.
Me too. I got to get
You see
some
what
journey
happens?
tickets
You get
away.
involved here? Let me tell you who's going to be the host of this show. Every time this show is on this show.
You.
Me.
Yay.
We're going to start making shows
hogging
every
it.
week.
Just
We're
hogging
going
it.
to start having so nobody's filling in for me anymore because my audience gets let down every time because I'm not there.
That's not true. If you allowed this one thing to happen, they wouldn't be let down. Maybe there'd be cries for, Eric's getting a little stale. We know he's 55 and he had powdered milk as a kid. We've heard it plenty of times.
His bones are turning into powdered milk.
I got a proposal from somebody. It was in an unmarked envelope, and it was for a show called the Dr. Joe Doctrine. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who
Time for the
said
Dr.
that.
Joe Doctrine.
All right, the wolves are at my heels.
In Dr. Joe's handwriting.
Now let's do this. Let's do this.
I couldn't figure out who left it for me.
I said, let's do
Wait,
this.
how do you start every segment, Dr. Joe?
I said, let's do this.
Let's do that one
Don't
day.
eat the genie.
Let's
Don't
do
eat
this
it.
on
Eat
the
a
air
fruit
one
nut
day.
instead.
Let's do this one
No,
day.
we do this stuff off the
Get
air.
off my back.
No, what I'm saying, let's think about it. Let's act like Dr. Joe has taken over the Von
Yeah.
Haessler Doctrine, and it's now the Dr. Joe Doctrine.
Yeah, we'll do it on
Let's
April
just do it.
Fool's Day.
Live from, the place where we do the show.
1,000 hours of
very
the
healthy.
show you can listen to on a podcast.
Buy my book. I've got vitamins in my pockets.
Now
I'm selling them loose.
I'm getting into the CB thing before they outlaw it.
All right, I think we're done for the day.
Okay.
I think we've done just about enough damage. I think we've set enough on fire.
Is this stuff on the podcast when it goes out?
What?
Is this
No,
stuff?
I'm putting
part's
this in
not.
today. I usually don't put. I
should
usually
be.
don't, but I'm
Do
putting.
you put a
this
little
in.
noise in between?
Oh, I have. It's called bonus
Could it
content.
sound like this? Or I come in and go, extra.
Ooh, I like it.
EVH extra.
EVH extra.
Extra, extra.
EVH in my pants. Let's go deep in my pants.
Unzip with Eric Von Haessler.
Unzipped.
Unzipped.
All right,
Unzipped
kids.
with Eric Von Haessler. All right, Pete.
Listen to me, people on Facebook. I would do this all day, every day. I don't like ever leaving you, but these they don't.
I
they
don't
care.
like
They do
ever
it for the
leaving
money.
you.
They do it for
Like-
the money. Not me. I do it for the love. Right, Pete Spriggs? This is my life. I am my show, right? Right? Yes. You know me. You tell people. You've seen a lot of radio people. I was born for this. Is that not correct? I agree. That seems rather
Tell Pete that
tepid.
I love him.
I agree. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Autumn says she loves you.
Peter, I love you.
She just likes anybody named Pete. Bye.
Luckily, Pete's really cool.